And we're live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by Jason Liles of a lot of cool things, including Hellraiser. Very good to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me today, Neal. I appreciate you reaching out, and I'm excited to talk some movies and stuff.
Yeah. Then, first of all, for people who don't know, you played Chatterer in the new Hellraiser, because I don't think they could see that right away.
Yeah,
I
no.
hope not anyway.
No, I literally, the only person who's ever, I actually have a friend now who one time in a bathroom at like a Hollywood party was like, hey, anybody ever tell you look like the guy that played the gorilla in Rampage? That's the only thing close to that stuff.
Really?
That's the one time. And I said, that's me. And he was like, what? But yeah, nobody stops me like, you kind of look like the Chatterer.
That's wild, though. So I wonder, he must have seen, did he see you out? I assume he must have saw pictures of you out of costume. Not just like, wow, you really look like the gorilla.
I think he said he'd seen the picture of me on day one next to Dwayne Johnson in the mocap suit on the arm extensions, or he saw behind the scenes or something. And I was just like, we're going to be friends. You're awesome. You watched that? What?
Yeah.
No way.
And you're one of the few people who make The Rock look shorter.
Yes, he is.
I didn't want to say smaller because he's still very wide, but yeah.
Huge. His arms are like legs. He's massive, but he is a sweet, sweet, sweet man, as you can tell from watching any videos of him on Instagram or anything like that with his family. He's not putting it on. That's just him. But yeah, he's about 6'4" or so, and so hugging him and his head goes into my shoulder, like into my, that's weird. It's a little weird.
Yeah. How tall are you, by the way?
6'9".
Wow. So when you first started to get into show business, like, did you want to pursue acting? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, I always wanted to be an actor. My brother and I made short films on his Handycam with little tiny, whatever the cassette tape tiny things are back in the day. And I just never went after it in high school. I just never believed I could. And certain things inspired me, mainly the Dark Knight coming out and Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. And I was working at Blockbuster at the time and rented every Heath Ledger film, was so inspired. Took some acting classes in college. Director of theater pushed me, hey, I think you should make this your major. And I was like, I'm great. My dad and I visited New York, and before he's like, you're not moving to New York. No. And then we visited New York. He said, oh, you need to be here. This is great. And moved there. And I just heard I was too tall because, name me, we could talk about it. You probably could, but most people name me 5, 6.5 foot tall actors or taller. There aren't many people. And then but I didn't know anything about these types of characters, creatures and monsters, and all the actors that have played those characters until Men in Black 3, and I got to work with Rick Baker as several aliens, and that showed me, I studied theater, and I'll be a human every now and then, right? And that's it. But man, this is where I really fit, where 99% of people can't. I've got to go all in on this, and I did. I met people like Doug Jones, who's become a mentor, and other people and makeup artists out here in LA. And they said, if you're here, we can help you. If you aren't, we can't. So I moved out here after being in New York, and been here for 7 years. And that's when Death Note and so many other things really kicked off the last handful of years. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I assume you're up for a lot of the same roles of a lot of people who play similar creatures. Yes. Is there like a rivalry, or are you guys like friends? Or
I mean, there's definitely, when you see something that you want and someone else gets it, you wanted it, right? But when you know that person as well, a mentor of mine talks about, if you got something, you'd want people to be happy for you. So when someone else gets something else, be happy for them, be genuinely happy for them, and congratulate them. And so I am, knowing a lot of those people. I don't want to, there's only a handful of us, but I don't want to get, if I name names, I'll forget one. But it's really cool to see, like, oh, dude, you got to, congratulations, man. I'm so happy for you, man. You crushed it. But yeah, there have been a handful of roles where it's been down to me and a couple other guys I know, and you always want to be happy for them. Yeah.
Well, you said earlier about having the theater background, acting background, and then you said you start playing creatures. But I've seen movies where, especially more independent movies, where like someone in a mask, because some people will think anyone in a mask, whatever, can play the role, whatever. But I've seen people that you could clearly say they're not a great actor, and it takes away. And I think sometimes that's overlooked, the actual acting skills of someone, playing the creature.
I agree. I think I think there are a lot of great examples. I mean, Doug Jones is just an incredible actor. I think he's gotten to show those skills more and more now that it's his mouth and eyes in Star Trek Discovery, and he's having to handle not only just playing a character, but with all that scientific jargon and 7-syllable long words that he has to just make seem totally natural. These long monologues, he's like, oh my gosh. Or you see Andy Serkis and just watch him do behind the scenes of anything. They are incredible, well-trained, decades of experience actors. And yeah, if you put a suit and makeup on somebody who's not an actor, it just kind of looks like a mannequin. They don't, there's not life breathing through them. And I like how Andy Serkis describes every character it's 3 different areas. There's the psychology, how the character thinks, the voice or the vocals, and then the physicality, and it's all tied in together. And that's really, those are the 3 legs of the stool you create a character on. But yeah, and a lot of times it can be a quote unquote more difficult because you're acting and having to bring a character through, and you don't have you don't say the words, so you have to show it through the breath and through the life, and there's definitely a difference that I can tell in people's performances, when and in my own when I'm just phoning it in and I'm going through the motions, or they're actually breathing life into that character, man, and you just forget you're watching a guy in a suit. And so it definitely is a lot more than just putting it on, right? You do have to have that body for the character they're looking for, but being able to become a character is totally necessary. Yeah.
You mentioned Andy Serkis, like King Kong has so much emotion, and that one he has no lines, obviously. And then he has lines as Gollum in Planet of the Apes, but
right,
really brings a lot of acting ability to both those roles.
Yeah, and he's a theater trained actor. He's done, I don't know how many plays and years of experience before we ever saw him as Gollum. And it was because he breathed so much life into the performance that originally it was just going to be voice. And they're like, no, we need him on set in some way. And he's so good, we need some way to be able to capture his performance that he's doing. Performance capture, also known as motion capture or mocap. And so that's really there. It wasn't the first time it had been used in a film, but it was the first time it had been used in that way. I mean, motion capture goes back to the Street Fighter video games 30 years ago. They even, filming and then putting it in there. But yeah, he's a huge inspiration, incredible actor.
Yeah, I said on the show before, I think in the future when people look back at the beginning days of that, he's going to be the guy that people that's the godfather of motion capture.
I think he still is, right? Yeah. He's the go-to guy, whether it's that or it's Snoke in Star Wars or Caesar in Planet of the Apes or King Kong himself. Or if you see him more recently in Andor, he's in, I think, 3 episodes.
I've not seen Andor actually, but I need to see it. Yeah. I don't just watch horror stuff. I watch everything. Yeah.
You'll see him in there as a human, and he's incredible. He's incredible. And it's funny, if you watch it, once you watch the behind the scenes of War for the Planet of the Apes, there's no difference. He's just a great actor.
Yeah. By the way, I really like the old radio behind you. I just now noticed that.
Thank you. Yeah, my grandfather on my mom's side restored them. And for I don't know how many he did over the years before he passed away. And so that's one of them. And remember when I was at his house when I was a little kid, before the internet was crazy and all this, he tuned in one of the radios and we were listening to Japan. And I remember as a 5-year-old, I was like, this is coming from Japan right now. So yeah, those old radios are awesome.
Yeah. So when you first started to play a creature, did it take to get used to being in the masks and the makeup? For sure. I'll always remember on Men in Black 3, I had a fit. I was just excited. Will Smith, Men in Black, yay. Yeah. Waiting for a fitting. Didn't really know who Rick Baker was. Came to find out and was so, he's the sweetest man. 7 Oscars. He won a 7th while we were filming, but I had a fitting and they put a head on. And there's this thing that happens the first time you put on a prosthetic head. And you instantly have a little bit of a panic attack. And you're very claustrophobic. And instantly I felt like I was going to throw up. It was really weird. And then they took it off and they're like, hey, okay, cool, it all fits. I was like, yeah. Oh crap. What? Oh my gosh. And so on set, and a lot of times you might have some kind of prosthetic arms. And so even if you freak out and want to get it off, you can't.
So you really have to trust in the makeup artist, and it's really it's a physical exercise because you can be in 100-degree heat, blind, wearing something that weighs 100 pounds or more, and you've been holding the bathroom for 6 hours. But it's a mental exercise of just breathing, and one step at a time, one breath at a time. I'm going to make it through this day. They have been the most difficult. I've not had a difficult life, but they have been the most difficult days I've ever experienced in my life, whether it's in the water and I almost drowned, not almost drowned, but I'm trapped in the water and I'm waiting for someone to realize this is not an acting choice. Help.
Right.
Or yeah, you're wearing something that weighs 160 pounds and you can't see. And you start to think about, how long do I have to do? No. One breath at a time. Man, I'm so grateful to be here. This is so awesome. And, you say out loud, I love you guys. I love you. I love you so much. You guys are awesome. You got to speak positively, or else you're going to go into a downward spiral and have a panic attack and have to, there's a reason why Jim Carrey says they brought in someone who trains people to deal with torture in the CIA or FBI or something to help him get through the hundreds of times he put on the makeup and the Grinch. It is a mental battle. But you get used to it. You get used to, like anything else, you get used to it. And Jason, you okay? I'm good. Thank you. You need anything? Nope. You deal with it. Yeah.
Before we went live, we were talking about Creature from the Black Lagoon, and when I interviewed Ben Chapman, he had talked about so they made the suit, and for however months they were filming, like it was so skin tight. Things might be a little different now, but like he couldn't fluctuate his weight like at all, or else the suit wouldn't fit. So is that something you have to maintain the pretty much exact body weight when you're playing something over a period of time?
Yeah, it has not changed. It's the same. That I remember when I met Doug Jones and I asked him, man, at your age, how do you, most people never get in the shape you're in. How are you always? And he said, I'm terrified not to be, because if I don't, I can't work. I have to keep my body shape and be this frame that they can put something on, keep me slim, make me bigger, whatever. And I really took that to heart. I was like, I need to get in shape. And so I've been my measurements for 6 or 7 years. They pretty much the exact same weight. And I've just found what keeps me there. And even for Hellraiser, which we filmed in 2021, that was from a body life cast for Death Note in 2016. Another shop had. So luckily, and intentionally, I'm the exact same size as back then. So it takes being intentional with my diet and being intentional with my exercise and workout every day. And for sometimes a year or two with no substantial work. And then boom, today we need you to come in for a fitting and be ready to go. And I experienced not being ready to go a couple times when I lived in New York. And I was like, okay, I need to be ready, because it is always going to come out of nowhere. But yeah, it's still the same. It's skin tight stuff. And otherwise you're going to get folds and it's going to look like you're wearing something rather than it's your skin. Yeah.
And for Hellraiser and Death Note, the monster itself is very thin. So, they can't put too much bulk on her, or it won't look right.
Right. Yeah. You're adding on, a half inch to an inch thick of silicone rubber, maybe, plus costume and whatnot. So yeah, you've got to stay, there's only so slim I can get. I can't be as slim as Doug Jones or Javier Botet. But I just, I stay as slim as I am. And maybe there's certain roles that physically, well, we don't want that slim. We want a little bit more of like kind of a basketball player type. And that's actually specifically what it said in the breakdown for Hellraiser for the Chatterer that they were looking for. Slim basketball player type. And so it's, they're more right for certain things that, and I'm more right for over here. And so it's even in that fine niche of these types of characters, there's sub niches of like, well, we're looking for someone a little more buff, a little more slim, a little skinnier, a little more toned and whatever. And so, you gotta have the stamina to go all day, sometimes in profuse heat, and not look like a tired monster. That's not scary. You got to be ready every take. So that having that endurance is something that I've worked on and kept up for 8 or 9 years, since I really was like, I'm going all in on this.
So for Chatterer, is there an audition involved? How does the role come about?
Yeah, it's different for each time. Sometimes it's just been an offer. Most of the time there is some kind of a meeting or an audition or something like that. Like Star Trek Picard was just offered because I was recommended by the makeup artist, and they're like, yeah, he'd be perfect for this character, which ended up getting cut. But for Hellraiser, it was an audition for Clacker in the movie The Box.
Okay. So it wasn't presented as we're doing Hellraiser. Yeah.
Right. I did some texts around because I was trying to find out, and someone was like, oh, we had to pass on that, but like, you know what that is, right? I was like, no. They're like, it's Hellraiser. I was like, oh, cool. Okay. But it was an audition. I actually posted it on my Instagram. If anyone wants to go watch it, it's because that's cool. Now with self-tapes, I have my copy,
Yeah.
just in an office. But they had me do a scene that the Gasp, played by Selena Lowe, actually did to see, yeah, you're not going to talk, but how would the Chatterer do this scene? And then here's this other scene that's not really even in the movie, that is the Chatterer. How would you do this? And so I did those two. And there was no callback or anything for that. It was just, yeah, you're David Bruckner's choice. You're it. And so just from that one audition, but Death Note was an audition in the room, and then a callback, and then an offer. Rampage was just a meeting with Terry Notary, who trained me, who was training Josh Brolin as Thanos at the time. He trained Andy Serkis a dozen times. He's on a dozen different films. Everybody in Planet of the Apes and Avatar, and he is King Kong now, Kong Skull Island. And so we had like an hour and a half faux workout training session on the arms and breathing and getting into the character. And he was like, cool, thumbs up. I know this great place we'll train at. And it's basically up to him. So it's always a little bit different.
Yeah. When you said he was training different people for those roles, what is the training involved?
It's always a little bit different, but there is a similarity that he works from the inside out. And the first 30 to 45 minutes of that hour and a half training session, and then when we train for 3 weeks, the first hour or so of every 3 or 4 hour day that we trained in the mountains, it's sitting down and acting as if your butt bones are your feet. So you're standing straight up from sitting down, and as if like a string is pulling you from the top of the head. And you're just very, and just breathing and getting in touch with letting everything go, softening all your muscles, and getting rid of your mind, and just focusing on your breath, focusing on a wide focus of what you can see, taking everything in, and just being there. Because his belief is you're 100% alive when you're just breathing, you're here. But when we're cut off at the brain and we're thinking about, what I did earlier, what I'm doing later, I believe most of, if not all of his characters, he starts there with this blank slate of just grounded truth. And then from there, don't show me, don't force anything. Let's live through the moments. Let's discover the character that is already inside of you. You don't have to think about how to play it. We'll just, so getting down to that, and then obviously Thanos moves differently than an ape. But before we can ever get on the arms, I have to be able to sit there and breathe as the character, and then stand up and walk around on 2 legs as a character. Then we can get down on all fours and get to where I'm not thinking about it. Which that, miles on the arms to where you get to where it's just like walking. You're not thinking about, well, that arm's supposed to go before that arm. Crap. You just get it in. You push through I can't move today because we did 5 miles on these things yesterday and I used all these muscles I've never used. And well, oh my gosh, I can't move. And you just get to the point after a couple of weeks where you're just like, you're not thinking about it. You just know how to go from point A to point B, and you're focused on it, and you're in the breath and you're not in your head. But it's a large obstacle of getting through that. He's the most remarkable director or coach or movement coordinator I've ever seen in my life. The way that there's one moment when we were training, he had me getting into the breath and getting there after about half an hour, and had me stand up, and I was thinking about standing up. He's like, nope, sit down. I was like, He's like, you're just going to stand. It's not about the stand, And I stood up again after a few more times, and I felt it. And he goes, that. He points in my eyes, that there. Do you feel that? And I was like, whoa. Yeah. How do you know what I felt? That couldn't have looked any differently. And I just, he's incredible. I would work with Terry Notary on anything ever again, no matter what. And he knows that. I've told him that. He's just incredible.
For Rampage, do you watch like videos of gorillas to get to understand like the movement?
Yeah, my friend Colin Strauss, who was the visual effects supervisor on that and on Death Note, since Ryuk is 98% practical, but his face is visual effects, Colin was always there. And so he and I became very close on Death Note. And he kept telling me about the next film is Rampage. He got me that meeting. But before that, he said, they're probably going to want to meet with you in a couple of weeks. Well, that was like 6 months later. But every week or two, I was catching up with him. He said, yeah, this, but probably maybe next week. So I was going to the zoo. I was watching every Andy Serkis behind the scenes. I actually tried to reach out to Terry Notary for some training before I even knew he was involved, but he was busy with Avengers. And then we got to work and he's like, hey, did you email me a few months ago? I was like, yeah, well, here we are. Yeah. But I was watching every documentary I could. I didn't have the arms to practice on physically, but I was just trying to figure out what's the difference in being a human and gorilla, listening to interviews and all that. I did as much as I could. And then when I actually got with him, I learned more in an hour than I did in 6 months of my own research. He's just so incredible.
What's really the difference between playing something like Rampage and Death Note and Shadow, where they're both very slender characters, and then Rampage is very big? So how do you? Yeah, I know it's they're doing the motion capture, but how do you like make yourself feel bigger when you're through the movements?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, there's always it's interesting because they're all very similar in that Ryuk and Death Note, Chatterer and Hellraiser, George and Rampage, even Ghidorah and Godzilla King of the Monsters. They all see themselves as the highest status in every room they walk into. They are greater than anybody they walk into. It's not a cocky thing with George or with anyone else, but I mean, the only one with Hellraiser, obviously, Pinhead the priest, Chatterer listens 100% to her. But that's a similarity they have, but then they move differently. They're all completely different characters. Just like every human is totally different, even if we're born in the same house. And so just figuring out who they are, why they are, and then with someone like George, a word that Terry uses is gravitas. There's an integrity. There's not lightness. There's this weight to him, and a term he used, like, and this was part of the standing up thing. When someone like watch a gorilla, when they stand up and when they move, it's almost like when they're walking. Their torso is just, it's like they're just gliding across ice. They're not like, there's very, and he said, it's almost as if, imagine a rope is tied around your waist, tied to a weight behind you, and you're dragging it through the sand. And it's not going, it's just going. And so you imagine that and get to where that's natural. And if you stand up, imagine weight is pulling you down as you stand up. And as you go down, imagine weight is pulling you up as you go down. And there's this weight to you. And it's you're thinking about it at first, but you get to the point to where that's just in your movement and you just do it without thinking. Like anything, you got to if you're playing a sport, you got to get past the thinking about it and drill to where it's just, and then also watching him for miles. He would watching him like Mama or Papa Gorilla, and then following him and just, don't tell me how to do this. Let me watch your body and see how I can figure it out. And he'd look around and say a couple things. And that's how we learn. We learn by watching and trying and failing and failing and failing and failing. And I succeeded. And so it just, there's the understanding of it, but then there's hours and miles of just walking through it and getting it to where, you're not thinking about it. And having someone great like him guiding you and how to help you do that.
Even though it's definitely more of a gorilla in the movie than the video game, but do you watch any of the video game to get anything from that?
I didn't. I don't think I did. No, I played them when I was a kid, but
yeah, I was a big fan of Rampage as a kid.
I got to meet, I think 2 of the 3 creators of it. And they gave me a whole bunch of really cool like stuff from back in the day from it, which like, thank you so much. But no, I didn't research any of that. I knew, and especially with Terry, like, it's all about really just as authentically and honestly as possible becoming a gorilla, which he talks about. It's not about what you do. It's actually about undoing, because humans are 98% identical to chimps in DNA. And I think, is it that human. I think he said that. What is it? Oh man, I think it's like humans are closer to chimps in DNA than chimps are to gorillas.
Oh wow.
So we're actually, if we undo all the human things of how we know each other and we're using Zoom to connect, and I just be here and I live and breathe, I'm 98% of the way there. So it's about undoing all the social conditioning of I am this old and I grew up here, and cut all that out and just breathe and be here and do nothing. But it's very hard to do nothing and not be frozen. The big stuff is easy. The tiny little moments of breathing are the hardest. And just to trust that you're going to see what's coming through. That's the hardest part.
So when you're playing George, how much, how is it mostly in like a room with like motion capture? Or are you on sets with people?
That's a good question. I was on set. I think it was, we were over in Atlanta for a couple of months. I think I was 21 or 22 days out of the 50 to 60 days to shoot it. I was on set there with Dwayne Johnson, Naomi Harris, and everybody on set. But then there is also an aspect of shooting it in it's called a performance capture or motion capture volume. It's basically, kind of inside carpeted, 10 foot by 20 foot ish, something like that, 15 by 20 foot ish. With all these infrared cameras all around catching every inch of once you step into that volume, that space of the infrared dots and lights all around you. Plus you have a facial cam that picks up, I think it was like 59 dots on my face or something like that we got put on, very specific parts of muscles that move. So it can capture all of that. So you do shoot everything on set and they use that, but then you do go reshoot basically the whole film on at least for that film on motion capture, performance capture volume. And they're on set. It's a lot of like, we're using boxes as buildings and you're crushing through them. And there's a little 12-inch tall stick that says Davis, which is Dwayne Johnson's character. And so that's who I'm looking down at. But then on set, I'm also up in a cherry picker, 25 feet in the air, looking down at Dwayne Johnson. And they're capturing that while he's looking up at me and can act with me. So they use the best of all of that. But like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Ghidorah's like 512 feet tall. So they didn't put me up 500 feet in the air right. And move me somehow. That was all 3 days on a motion capture, performance capture volume with Alan Maxson and Richard Dorton, the other two heads of King Ghidorah, and then TJ Storm as Godzilla, and us just tackling each other on the carpet like little kids.
Yeah. This is maybe a silly question, but it's got to be cool to say, you were a kaiju, you were a monster in Godzilla.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like that's the modern day kaiju suit performers, right? We don't really put them in suits anymore for that, but and I knew director Mike Doherty. I'd auditioned for Krampus back in 2014. And he actually, he gave me his cell phone number, which was the first time a director had ever done that before. And we were texting back and forth, but it didn't work out because they went to New Zealand and they cast the character there. But we kept in touch once or twice a year, a text here or there. And then he saw the Rampage trailer and was like, dude, that looks awesome. He said, by the way, what are you doing next month, man? Are you in town for some Godzilla motion capture stuff? And I was like, what does that mean? And then 5-minute phone call about, I want you to be the center head and the big brother of the three. Do you want it? Yes. He's like, cool. Give me your agent's info. I'll give it to producers. And hey, we finally get to work together. Cool. And it was that simple. So it's all about who you know and who knows you and likes you and trusts you.
Terrible Troy has joined us, by the way.
Oh, how are we doing tonight?
Hello, Troy. Doing great. How are you?
All things are good.
Beautiful. Well, happy holidays and coming up on Happy New Year.
Same to you. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So you said you were the center head on King Ghidorah. Who are the other two heads? And do you interact with them?
Oh yeah, Alan Maxson and Richard Dorton, and the three of us are genuinely like brothers. Like we love each other so much, and love TJ Storm as well. But the three of us, we just had a bond. We had Richard Dorton on the left, Alan Maxson on the right. And at first they were working around, maybe we're going to like tie you guys together at the waist or the legs or something. I don't know what we're going to do. And we ended up just finding it was best if just the three of us were right next to each other and they had their hands on my back and just in the middle of my back. And we just moved together independently, but together. and then my arms were also tracked as the wings, and my
Okay.
feet were also tracked as the feet. And so, and Mike Doherty would just direct us through. He would show us like a PlayStation 2 graphics, pre-visualization of here's what we're thinking, and we'd watch it. So it's A, B, C, D in this scene. Okay. And so what am I doing? I'm doing that. We wake up and I break the wings out 1, 2, and then I'm looking down and I see them and then cut. Okay, great. So we'll go through that and we'll do it a few times. We'll move on. And so we just did that, and we acted off of each other, and they took that dynamic and we'd run at and act like we're blasting stuff out of our mouth and just like kids,
I could totally see that. That's great.
It was there's some fun behind the scenes on the DVD Blu-ray, but also on YouTube as well. There's like somebody just recorded something on their phone like one day, and it's and just inside this small space where we were filming, and it was cool. And the three of us also got to go watch the movie at Legendary Pictures before we filmed it, with all the real live action stuff they had filmed the year before, and the pre-visualization crappy graphics, and we're just high-fiving, and oh my gosh, and, Richard's head got cut off. Oh no, and dang, and it's growing back. He's come back to life. And TJ had not seen any of it until we got on set. So we're watching. So he's Godzilla, and he's watching what he gets to do, and he's like, "Oh, are you serious? Are you serious? I get to do what? Oh my gosh, so cool!" And then he's like a 12-year-old. And he just like prances across like the, okay, let's go. And like, he's so much fun. But yeah, that was a blast and we just figured it out. We figured it out. Acting classes and all that are very important, but really you get on set and you're just like, okay, let's try it. But as a team, let's figure it out, and you do, no one says, well, we can't shoot it. I don't know how to do it. You figure it out and work together. Yeah.
Rick Hudson in the chat says King Ghidorah is easily the coolest monster in Godzilla.
Oh my goodness, Rick Hudson, you're my favorite person in the world. I agree. I mean, he's incredible. He's the man, right? Thanks, Rick Hudson.
Yeah, Rick Hudson's a good man too.
Indeed.
He doesn't have 3 heads though.
No,
Rick
it's okay.
Hudson.
It's okay.
I have the old Aurora model of Ghidorah with his 3 heads going.
Wow. We got to meet, I'm blanking on his name now. We got to meet one of the original actors, actually.
Oh, really? That's really cool.
He was the last actor to play King Ghidorah before we did. And he was actually in the suit. We met him at a convention, and we got an awesome, epic picture with him.
Oh, that's too cool.
Where we're all like, and he's in front of us and everything. He had to wear something crazy for that. We were just wearing PJs with dots.
That's probably a pretty elite club, I would think.
Yeah, and you get to know people very quickly in there because there's obviously common ground, and you're talking about how they played it versus how you played it, and it's a very small, tight-knit community of people that play those types of characters, whether it's in motion capture, even I think a smaller, tight-knit community in practical effects. There's just only so many of us, especially out here in the LA area. We know of other people in other parts of the world, but here in the LA area, like everybody knows everybody. It really, and all the makeup artists, they go from shop to shop. It's a really cool community of people. So like conventions like Monster Palooza, I just like to walk around and be like, hey, dude, everybody's just hugging everybody. And that's where I actually met a lot of makeup artists who convinced me to move out here, because they said, if you're out here, we can get you in. If you're not, we can't. And I was like, dude, nobody's saying any of this back in New York. I'm moving.
Yep.
And our friend Michael Epstein and his wife Sophia Cassiola, their old dog passed away, unfortunately, but it was King Ghidorah.
Oh yeah,
that was the dog's name.
Yeah.
King
Ghidorah, a little tiny dog. I think he was like 3 pounds
or
something.
Very small dog, but yeah.
That's hopefully they had some kind of like they had someone make a costume where like it has a head on this side, head on this side, and one of those costumes.
I may that's a good idea. I should Photoshop something.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
The front 2 legs, or the the legs, and he's got like surely somebody can make something like that.
Mm-hmm. You'd mentioned Javier Botet earlier, who we've had on
Yes.
the show. It's a very cool guy.
A great guy.
Yeah, really good interview. I don't think he does a lot of interviews, so that was very cool. And so you were his shadow, the Crooked Man shadow in Conjuring
wow.
2. So were you actually like, did you do those scenes with him? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, that's an interesting story. I was just messaging with James Wan the other day. We were like, "Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas." Like, you know, I got a message from James. I'm like, James sent me a message. Oh, so cool. And James has like the best energy. Like he is like a little adult kid just running around, like so excited. So like he's an awesome director. But I got brought onto that just as a stand-in. Which, if someone doesn't know what a stand-in is, you have the similar build, hair, look, and all that of one of the principal actors, and so that so Tom Hanks or Brad Pitt or someone's not just standing there on their mark for hours while they make the lights and everything and the camera. They hire someone about their size, skin tone, hair, all of that, so they can, okay, great, we can set it up, and then hey, we're ready for Tom. And so I was Javier's in that because I was close to his height and build, and which was so cool to film on Conjuring 2. What an awesome set at Warner Brothers. But then I really, I took it. I think some stand-ins aren't actors. And so I was taking it very seriously. And I watched how Javier was moving. And so to help them and to have fun myself, I would move from Mark A to Mark B, how he was doing it as best as I could.
Okay.
And so they could really see. And then Javier would come in and do his thing, and I would watch. And so one day Javier was shooting something over here, and one of the PAs or someone came up to me and they're like, "Hey, James wants to like use you for a shot if you're down." I was like, yes, absolutely. And they said, and there's this scene where you see his shadow coming down the hallway. You see it on the floor. And as he turns the corner, it's actually just the little girl. So she's possessed. And how we shot that was they put a light behind me, and I came down through the hall and just took his direction a couple times and all that. And that was the first time my shadow was on screen, but I was on the first time in a film I was ever on screen, and I'm getting direction directly from the director. I was so freaking psyched. And I'm like, dude, I'm a part of the movie. But the moment, what we did was the little girl is like, they're like up against the wall as I'm walking toward her. And as soon as I get to her, I go whoop, up against the wall, and she turns the corner to make that look practical. But yeah, so it just turned, I just did the best I could as a stand-in, and then they ended up using me that way, which was really cool. And James and I have lightly kept in touch between, then, and hopefully we get to work together in some way again. But Javier is just such a kind, sweet, gentle giant of a man, and an incredible actor. Clearly, all the things that he's brought to life are, I'm never really scared because I'm just like, man, Javier's doing great here, right? Like, and so it's hard to scare me nowadays. And like,
right. If you know the guy that's the monster, I mean,
you meet Javier and you're not scared. He's he's such a sweet guy. But yeah, that was a very fun experience. That was the last time I did anything like that before Death Note, the last background or anything like that. But that was just a couple months after moving out here to LA. So that was great.
Great. And it was really interesting in the interview with Javier. He mentioned that like a lot of the stuff he did, people assumed were CG, and like a lot of the stuff, almost all of it was just completely practical, like in Mama, and people don't realize that's him.
Absolutely, it's I think because of his build, they're like, well, no one can be that thin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The way he moves, well, you can't actually practically move that way, but in Mama, it's him. He's like hoisted by a wire or something, so he's able to move that way. And if you look at behind the scenes, and so it's not CGI. It's just he's that good.
Yeah,
he's just, you don't think you could do it. You probably couldn't, but Javier could do it.
Right.
That's why he's in 100 different things. The biggest.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. Yep.
That's why he's the guy. Yeah.
Early on, you mentioned, like hard things like being stuck underwater and things like this. Have you had any injuries playing any of the characters? And is it just hard on your body, like your joints and things?
Both. I'll try and run through a couple things come to mind. I did a project one time where the suit they wanted. How do they want it? They wanted they wanted like the shoulders to be built up a bit, but the suit was already built to my life cast. And instead of building outside, they built inside. But what that does when you have a suit that fits you perfectly is now that's creating stretch and tension in this. So it's actually pulling down on your shoulders when you're glued into this thing. And I had like an hour, after about an hour and a half in that, my back was hurt. I mean, it's like you're holding weights on your shoulders and your upper back. It hurts so bad. And I would just have to sit there and just breathe through. And I just found out I was practicing non-reaction. Don't react to it. Just, it's there. But oh my, like you have a migraine, but just sit there and smile, you know? And I went to a massage therapist. We couldn't do anything. We just didn't have, we had to shoot it. We couldn't redo that. It's just sorry. I wanted to quit. I did. I even talked to my manager about that. Like, what would happen? He's like, well, this and that. I'm like, oh, I won't, but holy crap, it's going to be the worst next 11 or 12 days on set. I went to a massage therapist and he was like, what are you doing? So I explained to him and I was like, any permanent damage? He's like, 99% chance. No, you might, but like, you just come back to me when you're done. So production actually paid for that. So they're awesome. But, and then on Hellraiser, Josh and Sierra, who put that together, oh my gosh, what an incredible job. I mean, bringing all the Cenobites to life. And we found out on set, because I have a fiberglass skull cap and head underneath that has the animatronics attached to it, so you can go with the teeth. And then the silicone rubber goes on over that and fastens in the back. And we found out after about 10 or 15 minutes of once that's on, just the most intense pressure migraine that cannot be released until it's off. And I mean, I was at the point of almost crying multiple times the first night, and we just couldn't do anything. You didn't know, because in fittings you're in for 5 minutes, great. Yeah. Yep. And so, but then we found out on set, and so they took such great care of me, and we'd push through for 15, 20 minutes until I was going to pass out, and then we would get it off for like 2 minutes, release the pressure, back on a couple times just all day. And those were some of the most like difficult but like proud days I've ever had on set, because I just pushed through and I was like, like I'm a beast, and I feel great after that. And you use it too. They're supposed to be in pain, right? And masochistic demons from another dimension. So
right.
You know, when they say action, everything goes away, and my eyesight is like looking through little pinholes, so I can't see, I can't hear, and it's like my head's in a typewriter of a bucket, and the pain, and I go after them, and so it's actually, and then they say cut, and the worst is just waiting and just feeling the pain, be like, guys, let's go. And then on Rampage, I actually hurt my arm in training very badly, and to the point to where I could not, get on the arms. And it kind of was like, I didn't know what was going on. I could cook with it and all this. And then I got back on the first day of the second week with Terry, and I was like, oh, what is that? I mean, it feels all right. I can't put any pressure on. What happened? And he's like, let's just let it heal. And we went a couple days, then flew to Atlanta to work with director Brad Payton, and it just did not get any better. And I was just like, I remember having a panic attack almost one night, just being like, I'm going to lose this role because I told him, I'll just tell production and they can like send me, go to the doctor. And he's like, no, don't tell production, because we're not filming yet. There's time for them to find someone else. And I was like, oh my God, no, what happened? And we were training with Brad one day, and he doesn't know this. And we're working with him, and we were showing him some of what I did. And I'm pushing through, I'm like, do I have a fracture, like a minor fracture, and this is going to break in half while I'm on these arms? And I have to go hard showing him what we're doing. And Terry's like, great, that's the arm. I'm like, that's no better. He's like, great, man, you're doing it. Looks great, yeah. And I finally just went to the urgent care, and myself and Terry's like, text me what you find out, and it was a muscle strain, not a muscle sprain, but muscle strain. And mainly my question was like, what can I be on it? And she's like, yeah, you won't injure it anymore. It'll hurt. Ice it 3 times a day. Take 4 ibuprofen 6 times every 6 hours for 10 days. That's 240 ibuprofen.
Wow. Right.
And then she said, and then stop after that, because that's a lot on your kidneys. But that was a Friday, and I texted Terry's like, yes, and just I iced it like crazy. I set alarms for the ibuprofen. Monday, how is it? Here we go. Oh, it's like 90% better. Yes, we're going to be okay. I was so terrified. We never told anybody.
yeah.
He said, look, you have stunt doubles. They're here for this. So be alive. Don't worry about any of that. But and then by the time we filmed a few weeks after that, 100% better. And she said that. She said it'll hurt for a couple of weeks, but 2-3 weeks will be 100% better. And so those are a couple things that come to mind. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you just got to push through, and anything in practical effects, you're always in discomfort, you know.
Yeah, those sounds like torture kind of things. That doesn't sound like any fun.
You guys, there have been things where I've had, like, you know, we call going to the bathroom number 1, 10-1, number 2, 10-2. There are times where I've been in all day, glued in something, no 10-2 option, just praying I don't have a thing happen. Or in Hellraiser, no 10-2 or 10-1 option. So holding it for 7 or 8 hours one day, and being like, well, I hold it when I sleep for 7-8 hours. So I'll be fine. I just won't drink a lot of water, and I don't drink water while I'm sleeping. I'll be fine. I'll chug water later. So it's a lot of like talking to yourself, and because every suit, I remember even in an interview, Doug Jones one time, when I met him, because I'd seen an interview because I was obsessed with him at the time. I was stealing everything I could from him. And he said in an interview that Pan's Labyrinth was the most comfortable thing he'd ever worn.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. So some of them are very comfortable. Okay. And so I talked to him. So I was like, so that was really comfortable. He said, oh, child, no. It was
comparatively.
It was the most comfortable. I was like, oh, crap. Oh, so it was never comfortable. He's like, oh, child, no.
It sucked a lot, but it was bearable, that kind of thing.
It's like,
it wasn't as horrendous as everything else.
Yeah. You get off set and you go home and you're crying in the shower because you have to go back the next day. And I was
no.
Oh, man. What have I signed up for with this career choice?
So those are pretty much just stories, Neal. We used to, Brian Steele would tell us a lot of those things, like from Hellboy and stuff. Just, you're going to walk in a completely unnatural way, and there's no way that like sweat can wick through like the suit itself. He's like prepared to be, just disgusted in yourself, being uncomfortable, and try not to kill the star of the movie because you can't see anything.
So much sweat. I mean, Hellraiser sometimes, because it's my whole body was lubed by other people to get this thing on. And then you're sweating, combining with the lube, and then you're outside cold, so the lube is drying on your skin, on your hair, and it's like you get off, and you can't wait for a hot shower.
Oh, I bet.
But Brian Steele said one time, pain is temporary, DVDs are forever.
Very true.
Push through, you'll be fine.
So, some here in the chat, Craig. Well, you kind of answered this because he asked if suits and prosthetics have gotten any better as the show progressed. Oh, I guess Hellraiser. As Hellraiser progressed, did it get any better for you?
Oh yeah, you get more and more used to it. Yeah, you definitely, by the final day, you're just like, you're totally fine. Because you've been through what you thought was terrible, and you made it, and you're fine. You took a shower and you went to bed and you were fine. And you just it's like a muscle. Mentally, it's all mental. It was no different, but mentally, I just knew I handled it all the other days. I'll be fine. Yeah, and they tried padding in certain places for the head, but it just is what it is, and it's a matter of just communication. And David Bruckner, found out, because they didn't tell anybody other than the makeup team, found out something was going on, and said, "Can we FaceTime before we get on set tomorrow or something?" And so he worked with me. He's like, what if we do a couple shots, 10 or 15 minutes? You can get the head off. Because I told him, head comes off, it's gone. Pressure's gone. I'm ready. I'm 100% again. But I just need a minute or two for that to go. He's like, what if we do a couple shots, get it off for a minute? Do a couple shots, get it off for a minute. Because the days we were about to shoot were like at the gate scene, when he goes up and pushes the gate and breaks it before, and that whole scene chasing them. And those nights were just chatter or shot after chatter or shot after chatter or shot after chatter or shot. So there's no breaks. And we had to get in so much stuff those nights. So I just had to push through. And but when you have a great team and great communication, and it's the entire team from top to bottom on Hellraiser was just awesome.
For the movement of Chatterer, did you watch like the first two Hellraisers, Hellraiser Hellbound for Chatterer at all, or do you want to not be influenced by that?
Yeah, I looked at them for sure before the audition. I think I looked at some clips and whatnot. Once I had the role, I watched the first couple for sure. I think it was after, I can't remember, but I know I did, but I can't remember when it all happened. But I worked with a guy named Lauren Salm, who is a great, he studied mime and has worked with so many actors, and great acting teacher and coach. Incredible for bringing a character to life, movement, no dialogue. And so he worked with me, but he also just sat me down and let's talk about the character for an hour and a half. Who are you? Where are you coming? Before we move, why? So we figured out all the whys behind it. Why does he chatter? Like, why? There's got to be a reason. And so we came up with our ideas for that. And then I like to just figure it out myself after I get some stuff. And I set up a camera in my laptop and I get in front of it and I just walk through, and then I'll watch it and see, okay, that and that works. That doesn't. Let me try it again. And I just tried it like 50 times or something. And then like, cool, I've got it down. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And so it was very much my own. And then there's one of the two audition scenes, he talks. And so it's like, well, that time I got to totally be something kind of similar, but different. So how do I do that? So he doesn't have any lips. So he can't make B sounds and M sounds and all that. So how do I do all of that? And just tried it to where I thought that's the best I can do. And then went in and self-taped it at a place here, Intrepid Tapes, where I always go, and felt great about it. And that was one where I came out. I was like, if I don't get this, who the crap did they get? I know. I couldn't have crushed it better. Right. I've watched it half a dozen times afterwards. It's freaking great. We'll see. And sometimes you feel that way and you never hear back. And sometimes you feel that way and you get it. Sometimes you feel like that sucked and you get it, Yeah. It's interesting how that happens. But yeah, just figuring it out as best as I could. And
when
then
you thought of
David as well. We talked about who this chatter is, why he's similar but different.
So for that idea about like, what is Chatterer, do you like go all the way back to like when he's human and how he becomes Chatterer? Like how far back do you go when you're figuring out, what he is, or even I guess what he is or who he is?
That we talked about it because there is that information out there. Mm-hmm. Nicholas Vence, he wrote this short basically about where he came from and got the thumbs up from Clive Barker, basically making a canon of what happened to him, which is a tragic story of what happened to Chatterer as a human, as a boy, growing up and everything. But really, it was looking at the words. One thing that we really picked apart were all the words in the character breakdown and what we had from the scenes in the script for this audition, and really picking apart, why does he do what he does? Why does he? And we kind of came up with just, okay, well, for the chatter, why does he chat that way? Maybe it's excitement. Maybe if he's blind. I watched a TED Talk one time about a guy that clicked and he used it as sonar, and even to the point where he could ride a mountain bike blind. He could click and hear where things are around him. And I was like, well, maybe there's that. He's listening, and I really put that into the audition, and then just thinking about, okay, well, what I think we kind of came up with. I think that this is his religion for him. Like he's trying to recruit people for his religion or convert them, and that this is the highest form of living, but it's also kind of military. As if the up chain of command, is the priest, and then Chatterer is described as the priest's right hand man, muscle, and so I will listen to, and he takes it very seriously, almost as if like someone, the scene with Aoife Hines and her character and her back getting ripped off and all that. That's almost like a baptism to him, and he's just there as this sacrifice, and it's. And then we got to do a really cool take with that, actually, with Aoife, when he's holding her head, where we took my head off because it was just like part of it was doing some buckling or something. I don't remember why, or we just didn't need it. I was out of frame. And so I actually got to look her right in the eye for her close-ups as Chatterer. And there's just this overwhelming thing of him of just, you don't understand, but you'll see. Like, it's better than you can ever imagine, especially in the script too. At the end, it says in the script when Goran's character Voight, there's this thing that when he's becoming a Cenobite, there's this thing that happens in his eyes, and this calm comes over him. And in the script, it's described as something like, "Why did I ever resist?" And so I think that's he's out there, knocking on the doors, being like, "Have you ever heard about Jesus?" Like that's kind of what he's doing. And so he's not an evil, bad person. He's horribly misunderstood and he's twisted, but he thinks what he's doing is like the work of God, and he is bringing. And so like just looking at, we came from that perspective, which makes it freaking creepy.
Yeah.
Because you don't want what he's doing.
You don't want what he's selling on that one.
Yeah, and so I just, but he's muscle as well. So he will overpower you. And even if it's kind of a thing of like, you don't want this medicine, but child, I know that this is best for you. So, which is creepy, but really coming from what he thinks he's doing, anybody in history, they think what they're doing is absolutely right.
I always think that's the best villain is
without
one
a
who
doubt.
thinks what they're doing. And even on the show over the years when we've had different Doug Bradley on and stuff, and I brought up that I think part 3 and on they're more evil, but the first 2 movies, the Cenobites are neutral characters. They're not evil.
Are they angels? Are they demons?
Right.
And so really embracing that. And then just finding how they described some of the movements in the script and just finding the most interesting ways to do those that made sense. And then, and here we are.
Yeah, no, that's right. And by the way, Nicholas Vince, who we're friends with, Nicholas, a great guy. Did you ever meet him? Have you talked to him about the
Not meet him, but we connected on Instagram and said, "Oh my gosh, hi! Oh my gosh, hi!" And hopefully we can meet at some point. And he said some nice things about my chatter, and I said, "Dude,
very good.
It's an honor to be able to pick up your chatter, like you're from back in the day. Holy crap!" And thank you for your blessing. And so at some point, I'm sure we'll meet and we'll hug.
Yeah. I was glad there was no animosity between the chatterers.
Yeah, no, there's not. No, it's, and I've seen a lot of times that's how it is. I know Terry told me when he got Kong for Kong Skull Island, he called, or they offered it to him, and he called Andy Serkis. He's like, "Dude, I can't take this. This is your role." And he's like, he's like, dude, you're this King Kong now. Take it, man. I'm proud, happy for you. Go for it. So it's so yeah, there has to be that. I mean, if you're holding, who was it? I'm blanking on his name now. There's an actor who talked about, and a comedian as well. He said, "I never hold a grudge, because while I'm sitting here holding a grudge, they're out dancing."
Right.
So I'm the only person I'm poisoning is myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very true.
Why not just be grateful for what I have and not frustrated for what I don't, and be excited for them? Like, I found a lot of peace and calm, or frustrated. It comes down to, am I grateful right now, or am I frustrated? Because I can't be both at the same time. So why don't I count my list of what I'm grateful for instead of what I'm frustrated about?
Along those lines, so not any animosity or anything like that, but taking over a big role, an icon, and remake, or not really remake, kind of like the reboot or a new version of a classic film and a classic novel. Is that hard to get into? Because you're like, this is something that horror fans, movie fans really love, and we're doing a new version of it.
I think it's how you think about it. I didn't really think about it. I was not nervous about it or anything. And this is coming from a guy who used to have panic attacks just going to school, like in middle school and high school. So I've worked on how I think about things. But I think some people could definitely come into that and feel a lot of pressure and a lot of, oh my gosh. And I was excited. I was like, man, wow, this is like cheating. There's 35 years of fan base. And this is the bigger budget than all the other 10 combined. So we have the opportunity to really bring quality to it in a way that hasn't been there in quite a while, because just the money hasn't been there. We're all super grateful coming out of COVID at that time. It was a year and a half into COVID that we started filming. So everyone was so grateful just to be on something, let alone a franchise like this, let alone being flown out and put up on another continent. And so there was such a special bond everybody had on this that, and everybody's going through it, whether you're a human or a Cenobite. We were all going through it in some way. And so it really bonded all of us. And we were just, I just focused on my lane and my position. You know, there's 11 football players on the field at a time. Okay, I'm going to do my position between action and cut, between hut and blowing the whistle. You know, I'm just going to do my part and trust the rest of the team and have fun doing it and encourage the rest of the team. And you know, really find the best things to praise for them and help that be, you know, push through these long days and long overnights and just have fun doing it. And I really enjoyed it. And it was a very special experience. One of those rare, I think before you get in the film industry, you're like, man, when we go do a film, it's going to be like at camp and we're all going to be in the hotel rooms and hanging out. We're going to be best friends forever. And then no, it doesn't happen, you know, and maybe you don't, you know, you walk away, you don't talk to anybody afterwards. I don't know. Not because they're bad, it's just you're there to do work and see it. You know, how many jobs have you had where you still talk to everybody from, right? It kind of, there's an aspect like that, but this really was like that. We're in another country where nobody knew anybody, and just large 12-person texts of who's going to get breakfast in the morning, who wants to go to that park, who wants to go to this place and get dinner tomorrow. Okay, I'll get a 12-person dinner reservation. And we're there for 4 hours drinking wine and having food and laughing. And it was let's go to the fortress, let's go to the zoo, it was very, very, very special all around.
That's very cool. Well, I'm, like I said, friends with the Cenobites from Hellbound, the second one, Nicholas Vince, Simon Bamford, and Barbie, and they're still all friends. And so I know they kind of, you know, reconnected through the convention scenes, but you know, they go out to dinner together, and it's very cool to see that.
I think that's the closest I have to that right now is with the Godzilla guys, which is funny because we only spent 3 days on set. And it was like the shortest, you know, or 3 days in the motion capture volume, but myself and Richard and Alan as the heads, I mean, we poke fun at each other. We love each other, and TJ as well. And now all four of us are represented by the same appearance manager for conventions. So in 2019, we all went to half a dozen conventions around the country, and we're on planes next to each other in hotels. And so like, we really grew tight. And even through COVID, we still got together a lot, and just, you know, yeah. So that's you never really know where those special friendships are going to come from, or like on Death Note and Rampage, biggest friendship I came away from there with was visual effects supervisor Colin Strauss, who was one of my groomsmen at my wedding.
Oh, really? No, that's pretty wild.
There's these little things, or the visual effects producer Chris Schnitzer from Death Note, and like we go over to his house for dinner a few times a year with his family, and so you never know where you're just going to connect with somebody, and there's countless examples of that.
Charles has been asking a few times here. He wants to know, what was your experience working on Death Note and the reaction after it came out?
Yeah, the experience was amazing because I had been so close but no cigar to so many different roles of any kind of size, whether it's a day on or you know, almost being Krampus and getting to go out to, oh my gosh, and I was so close to all these things, and then that actually happened. And I was working in Outback Steakhouse at the time, and I got a call Friday from my agent, like, you're the first choice. You're going to Vancouver, Canada. And I went for 3 months. I was like, oh, I cried. I went to work at Outback Friday, Saturday, Sunday that weekend, and did not care. But I couldn't tell anybody. And then I got to go. And you know, the assistant to the director, you know, told me, like, dude, you're like the Chewbacca of live action anime. I was like, holy crap, I am. And then I found out Willem Defoe is going to be your voice. We got him locked in. And I was like, what? Me? And it was just, and my wife, girlfriend at the time, came up and lived with me in Vancouver for like a month and a half of that. And just days off, we'd go hang out on set and get free food. And then days off, we'd go hiking and explore that city. It was a dream come true. And then the trailers came out when I was working on Rampage, and I was like, what? Watch everyone's reactions on YouTube. And if you've made a reaction video, I don't care if you have 100 views, you made a reaction video to a movie I've been in, I've seen it. I love watching people react to and get excited. I pretty quickly turn it off. I'm like, that's okay. But it's cool to watch those. But then when it came out, there were a lot of mixed, right? There are a lot of people who are like, it's not like the anime, and it's like, okay, we'll go watch the anime. The anime. Right. And I think the job that they did, taking that and the manga and the anime and putting it into an hour and 40-minute movie, that was
exceptional. Yeah,
that is tough. And I think they did a great job. It's a fun movie. It's not perfect, but man, it's fun. And if someone's like, I like the anime better, the anime's there.
Yep.
Right.
See, I'm one of the camp of I like them both.
I like them both. I actually haven't watched it in a while. I'd like to watch it again soon. It's always fun to watch it. It's weird too because I don't see myself and I hear Willem Defoe, so it's like weird. But I know that's me. And now I'm super stoked to see what the Duffer Brothers do, as they are doing a live action series with Netflix. And definitely one of the top targets, for me right now, or things on my radar is I want to be Ryuk in that. Oh my gosh. The Duffer Brothers, with what they've experienced working with teenage actors and characters and the dark but realistic tone of sci-fi and horror, and taking that and just copy paste that level of work into a series live action of Death Note, where Netflix says, do whatever you want. Netflix lets you make it. They are not like micromanaging at all. They're like, make your movie, man, make your show. I think that's going to be freaking amazing. And I 1,000,000% will do anything to be a part of that as Ryuk, because Ryuk's so much fun. He's untouchable and he's just there and watches and has fun. He's like a cat just watching whatever entertains him. And when it feels like leaving, he'll leave. And he's so much fun to play. So yeah, Death Note was and it opened up everything. It led to Rampage, which led to Godzilla, which led to so much. So it's an incredibly special experience for sure.
Both Troy and I really like it, and I'm someone who I had no idea it was based on anything, because not that I dislike that, where I just don't know anything about the anime or anything like this, so I just didn't know anything about it, and I really liked it. And Troy knew all about it, and he liked it. So.
Yeah, I was the one going in with my fists up, like, all right, show me what you got, and I was like, wow, I loved it.
From the moment I read the script, I was like, I love it. This is great.
Yep.
This is great. And is everyone going to love it? No. Everyone doesn't love. There's no matter
anything.
No matter how good and juicy a peach is, some people just don't, and that's okay. They don't have to eat peaches. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a friend who doesn't like Taxi Driver. I bring that up a lot because I think it's insane. But
I mean, yeah. Over the holidays, my wife and I we watched the new Knives Out film, which was filming in Belgrade, Serbia, the exact same time, and a lot of the cast was in our hotel. And there's some people that I thought that was great. Or we watched the new Top Gun movie. Some people didn't like that. I thought it was great. Or we watched My Cousin Vinny. There's some people who don't like. They give a negative review to My Cousin Vinny. How do you give a negative review? It's to this day. It's like, yes, they won the case. It feels great and it is hilarious. I don't understand. It's okay. That's okay. I just want to be friends with those people, I guess.
So about Death Note. So do you and Willem Defoe do you get together at all to talk about, like, so I'm to like combine, like he's gonna voice it this way, you're gonna move this way, so there's some type of cohesiveness to the two?
Zero.
All right.
Oh, really?
We met at the premiere, and I said, Willem, I'm Jason Liles. I play Ryuk. He said, "Oh, I play Ryuk too." He's such a sweet guy, and I've emailed back and forth a couple times with him. I saw in a Q&A here or there, be like, "Hey man," he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And but that's about it. And but when I got it, I called my mentor Doug Jones and was like, "I got this thing." It's like, I'm so excited. And I said, "What advice do you have?" He's like, "Oh, child, no, I don't have any advice. I don't know anything. You'll be great." He's like, "Oh. No. There is one thing. You're not going to be the voice, but you have to act as if you will."
Interesting.
Because you're going to be the only person on set all the actors have to work off of. And just like I'm talking right now with my hands, and it's hitting moments, how I hit with my voice and my physicality in my head, it's all tied in together. You can't separate the two. So you have to act like, and then whoever they do get, which found out to be Willem Defoe, whoever they do get to do your voice, they have to match your cadence and your rhythm, or it won't match the physicality on screen. So if Ryuk's like, oh my gosh, like, why do we talk about these rules and all this? Why can't we just do this? And well, he has to match that, or it looks totally wrong. And so instantly I was like, oh crap, I have way more responsibility than I thought. I thought I was just going to be the physicality, but it's all tied in: physicality, vocals, and psychology. And so that made me prepare. And they said on set, there's this term they came up with where they said, you Ryuked that.
That's awesome.
Came in, one take, done. Because
Wow.
they said, hey, you Ryuked that scene. Great. That's awesome. Moving on. Because it was my first thing I'd ever been a part of. And I did not want anyone to be like, I wish Jason would just get this or something. And Adam Wingard gave me such a great compliment one time when we were done filming. He said, this was a tough shoot. And I had a lot of fans giving a lot of opinions while we were filming this, and death threats and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he said, but every day I saw on the call sheet, oh, Jason's coming to set today. Awesome. Okay, it's gonna be easier. And I was like, that's awesome. Okay, that's great. Yeah. So in that way, we did work together without working together. And then he got in the voiceover booth and had motion capture dots on his face, and Adam directed him, and they edited it together, and came out. I love how Ryuk came together in that. Really, the whole visual effects, the costume team, the makeup, everything is.
It's just so smooth. I think it's like I wouldn't change a thing in it.
Adam's direction was phenomenal. Of that, and just even little technical things. I remember when we were in the school, how when you laugh like, right? You laugh like that. And we did a take where he said, "Can you like do your shoulders like that when you laugh?" And I was like, I mean, I can. And so we tried to take and then I come over and look at the monitor, and I'm like, holy crap, that looks like Ryuk. And I would have never done that without him suggesting that.
Yeah.
So it's such a huge team. And actually the red dots were practical. I wore these like glasses type thing that had two red lights right here at my eyes. And so in dark shots where you can't see, they don't have to do any visual effects. It's just the eyes coming through the black in the background or over his shoulder or something. And just all of it. Yeah, it looks phenomenal. It really does.
Yeah. I just thought it was like flawless. Everything just so smooth.
I'm very grateful I was surrounded by a great team of people who help, because if everything looks bad, you can do the best you can.
Oh yeah.
I've been in situations where I'm like, I look like an idiot. I won't say any names or projects, but luckily it's been very, 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 very few, and it's been like none of the features or anything I've done, but it's just like, I can do anything. I'm going to look like an idiot. Like, so when you're surrounded by great people who make you look great, they make you look great.
That's awesome.
So, literally sometimes you're sitting there and just breathe and give it life, and holy crap, amazing. It's like, just there. and then look. Okay, well, that was incredible. Let's do it again. Moving on. So the team around you is huge.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
So how about the reception for Hellraiser? Because at first people didn't know, and then when it came out, I mean, there's people don't like it, but it had a lot of love for it. A lot of people who were diehard Hellraiser fans saying it was, the best one since like the first.
You were one of them, Neal. I remember you were like, one of the people telling me like, "Hey, you got to watch this movie. It's really good." Mm-hmm. Okay.
Again, if you made a reaction or a video review, I watched it. So, like, a lot of people said stuff like that, and it was the best one since the first and the second one. Which, I mean, it's hard you can't beat nostalgia, right? No matter how good something is. So for people to say that is really great. And there are people who didn't like it and they disagree with this and that. And I think one thing David said in an interview was that a lot of people had issues with like the way they told the story, which that's that's intentionally how they chose to tell the story. Some people are like, well, why didn't you put this in or that? And they're like, well, obviously we could have, but this was the story we wanted to tell and the way we wanted to tell it. And I mean, you're going around the studio saying, hey, you want to put up $20 million for a Hellraiser movie? And they're like, no, of course not. Like the last one was like 200,000 and no. So the fact they even freaking got it made is insane. And Keith Levine just had producing that for like a dozen years, trying to get that thing going, and finally did. And I think for the story that they were telling from beginning to end, I've watched it a few times. I don't know how they could have made it higher quality or better. I think they're excited if we get a sequel to tell now a different story, to go a different direction. And some people are like, well, why wasn't there more nudity and sexuality and more this and more that? And they're like, well, we could have, but like, read the room. When was the last time a Hellraiser movie? We just needed to get it made and tell a story that would bring in fans and a wide new audience too.
Right, exactly.
At a sequel, we can go nuts, and we can. And so if we get greenlit, so yeah, for that, and then the reception's just been great. It's been really cool. Fans have loved it. There's so much fan art and critically, it's the best reviewed film. Doesn't mean that it's the best, but it's the best reviewed. So it's just cool to see that. I think it's the first project I've been a part of that is Rotten Tomatoes fresh, which that's cool.
Okay.
Honestly, it only matters so much.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
There are some movies that are not fresh that are some of my favorite. Dumb and Dumber is somewhere in like the 20s or 30s, and that movie's amazing.
Oh, okay.
How do you not like that movie?
Yep.
But yeah, it's very, very cool. Very cool. And but honestly, it really, what matters most is just how you think of yourself. You can have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but if I don't think, if I'm not happy with it, if I phoned it in and I'm like, or if I just like, you have a negative thought life, it doesn't matter. It's that saying of like, you can have all the likes and followers and this and that in the world, but if you look in the mirror and you don't like yourself, but if you look in the mirror and you like yourself, I don't care what anybody says.
That's all good.
Yeah, like if someone doesn't like a movie I was on, I really don't care. That's great. I had an amazing experience, and I'm grateful. And I focus on the people who really do like it.
Yeah. So you've done conventions for Godzilla. Are you doing conventions for Hellraiser?
I haven't done any yet. My appearance manager tried to get some going that were in the fall, but really up until like a month out, we couldn't even say I was in it.
Right.
And then once it said it was in it, okay. And then Chatter was in the first trailer, but it was too late to get anything in the fall. So I'm sure we'll be at some in 2023. That'll be fun because I haven't been to one since 2019. But it's always a lot of fun to meet fans, and there's always one or two a day that just they cry and you cry and you're like, dude, you're amazing. Or ones that are just funny. Like there was one time for Godzilla, and the guy walked out, and instantly any of the Godzilla, they know who I'm about to say. There's a guy that walked up one time and was just kind of like, yeah, I saw the movie last night. And we're like, oh, cool. Did you like it? Or, and he's like, I didn't fall asleep. And we're like, cool. And then he paid for autographs and pictures. And we're like, okay, that was weird, Did you, what? Okay, that was all right. That was interesting. There's things that it's all, but I love convention. So much fun to meet it. And then you also like you're sitting next to that person.
I'm sorry, I have a spider right in front of my face here. We're gonna move him. All right, sorry, go on.
Oh, you're fine. But then you you get to go back behind the scenes and have lunch, and like there's that person who's played those people, and oh my gosh, or you're back in the green room and you're getting some food, and Mr. Shatner, absolutely, yeah, you know, I'd like to meet you, William Shatner. Hi, by the way, I'm such a big fan of your stuff. He's like, oh, hey, yeah, and it's really cool when you get to you meet other people you admire and you respect like that too. So conventions are so much fun.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think I've been to a convention since the pandemic.
Yeah, it's been a while for us. Yeah.
I was happy to get back into the theater. So you said you were making short films as a kid. Were they horror movies, or what kind of stuff were you into?
All kinds of stuff. There's something my brother made one time where we were just throwing the football around and like put like epic Star Wars music to it and made it super dramatic. And he's a great director and editor and producer and filmmaker. And He still does some documentaries. If you look up Jordan Liles, Liles, he has some incredible documentary features and shorts and videos that he puts up on YouTube. Some, I believe, with like millions of views, like some awesome stuff.
Oh, wow.
But we did like our own rendition of maybe a scene from Sixth Sense, you know, when he runs into the tent and all that, and he's praying and everything, or just let's make a movie today, and what if it's about this? Okay, let's just shoot it, and we just figure out shot for shot, and then he'd edit it together and put music. And a trending theme that we had was something scary would happen, and then at the end of the movie, I'd wake up, and it was all a dream, something like that, or you know, maybe like the day Christmas, you know, every place is closed, and so we're going to go to this parking garage where there's no cars, and we're going to go in there, we're going to film something, and yeah, we liked sci-fi supernatural type stuff, and like, you know, things like that. But it just whatever. He always made stuff, and we just would make a movie and yell at each other while we're making the movie, and but yeah, just whatever. We did lots of stuff. Somewhere he has copies of all that stuff. Somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Maybe he'll release them, or maybe you don't want him to release them.
I'm hoping. Go ahead. It's me at 11 and 12 years old. You know. And I've seen some of them, and I'm like, hey, we had no idea what we were doing. This is not bad. Like that, I didn't even know I was doing, but that performance, look at how I hit that mark, and I didn't even know what a mark was. And look at you with the editing and how you're doing that. Wow. And the transition to, this is not bad. It really isn't. Wow.
Yeah. Maz wants to know, what was Jamie Clayton like to work with as the new Pinhead?
Very professional, very hardworking, very sweet. We only had so much interaction. If you watch when Chatterer is on set with, it's very small scenes. Very encouraging. I know there are certain like the scene, the gate scene. You know, she's watching as I come up out of the earth, and I just, you know, I'm dealing with all this stuff and the head and everything, and I see her come up. That was effing amazing. You were effing incredible in that scene. And I'm like, oh, where are you? And you know, riding in the van, and she's sitting there with everything she has on, and just, you know, we're just Chatterer and Priest riding the set. What's up? But we only got so much time to really talk and hang out, and then the final day, and then there's obviously the scene with Aoife, and her back gets ripped off, and that whole thing, and the neck, and Chatterer's just there watching the whole time, and so it's cool to just watch her be the Priest. And but then the final, like the last morning I was there before the next morning I flew back. I flew back a couple weeks early because I was wrapped. I went downstairs, and we only talk so much, you know. And I went down to the breakfast area, really nice restaurant and included breakfast with this hotel, this Hilton Hotel in Belgrade. And I looked around, and she was the only person I know from cast or crew there. And I think I'd worked the day before, so I slept late, and breakfast was about to close, and I saw her over there, and I was kind of like, well, we haven't really talked much, and now I'm going to go over there and say hey. And went over there, I was like, is this seat taken? She said, hey, you go ahead. She was finished up, so I was like, I'll probably go get my food and sit down, and she'll leave. She's probably going to go do something else. And we sat there and talked for like an hour and a half. And breakfast closed, and we got to know each other. We talked about backgrounds and this and that and everything, and how terrified she was of playing the Priest because she wanted to do it such justice. And she's like, I'm just afraid certain people are going to hate me. I was like, well, someone's always going to hate somebody, but you're crushing it. There are people who are going to freaking love you, who you're going to inspire for this. And there was a moment as we're just sitting there sipping coffee, and the breakfast place is closed down. We're the only ones in there. And I'm like, it's cool. Like, no one even knows she is Priest. No one even really knows we're filming Hellraiser. But Chatterer and Priest are just having a coffee right now over breakfast. Yeah. And nobody has any idea. This is a cool moment. But she's so sweet. Saw her again at the premiere, and hugged on her, and she sat next to the Q&A, and there were things. Clive Barker was there saying things, and she was just like grabbing and squeezing my knee, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. He said, I'm the Priest of Hell. This is incredible. Yeah, so she crushed it. She worked so hard. She pushed through so much discomfort in the hours of makeup and everything she had to wear. The throat thing actually literally like choking her while she's performing. Because it has to be tight to look like skin. And she crushed it. She was awesome. Great leader of the Cenobites. And hopefully we get to do this again.
Yeah. Do you know? I'm sure you don't know yet, but you're hoping that at some point.
Everybody
It seems
wants
like it's done
to.
well. So
Everybody wants to. I heard that it performed more than twice as well as Disney hoped, which is good. What do you need for a thumbs up? I don't know. And I know David wants to make another one. He's talked about that, and he has ideas of where it could go. And I don't think there's a single person involved who does not want to make a sequel. And so yeah, we're all down to get in that horrible stuff ever again. No, it's and I would absolutely jump back into it 100%, and to work with Josh and Sierra Russell in the makeup team again, and everybody, it'd be so much fun. So, but we'll just see. I have no idea. I don't know whose thumbs up or thumbs down decision that is. I don't know, but we'll see.
Rick Hudson wants to know, what's your favorite monster that you've not played?
Probably either Chewbacca or Predator.
Oh, very cool.
Those were dream roles before I moved out here to LA, and still would be. But Chewbacca is probably done since the Skywalker saga is done. Predator's not, and Dane Deliegro plays him, who's a friend of mine. And so when I saw he got that, I was like, dude, that's congratulations. And he just got started as an actor a couple of years ago. He's worked his butt off out here and taking classes and studying and networking and building relationships like crazy. And so happy for him, and he crushed it in Prey.
Yeah, the new Predator is great. That one just kind of came out of nowhere too. Yeah.
Really great. I'm sure there will be another one. But yeah, those are a couple. Yeah, anything in Star Wars, anything to be part of Star Wars.
You've been in
we have all
Star
those
Trek
Disney things now, so you never know.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, I know a lot of the guys that make all that, and they put my name in the hat a handful of times, and I've gotten so close, but no cigar. So close. There was actually a character supposedly they were building on me in the shop that was going to be like a Darth Vader type character in season 1 of Mandalorian.
Oh wow!
It never happened. They cut
it. Season 3 is coming up.
There is. Yeah, I believe they're already done filming that, and that'll be coming out. But I have a lot of friends in the casting and in the special effects shop who are always very kind, and so that would be. And then I'm also good friends with Richard Taylor over at Weta Workshop, and so anything working with Weta Workshop,
nice.
I keep in touch. Like I'd work on anything. Which Krampus was with them, and Luke Hawker played Krampus, and he actually works at the Weta Workshop, and so he's an incredible, very kind man, great actor, performer, great suit maker, fabricator, all of that as well. So Mother also, he made that suit, Mother with Hilary Swank.
Wow.
He made that, and that's him in it.
Wow.
Well. So he's so that's Krampus inside there. Anything with it, anything with Richard Taylor and Weta Workshop would be a dream after being a nerd for all the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah. A cheap plug, you can listen to his interview from a few years ago. It's really cool.
Oh, really? Luke Hawker?
Yeah. I like to get any. I love having creature actors on because I'm a big fan, and they all seem to be very nice
geek
people.
out for that. Yep.
You have to be a nice person to do that stuff because you're sitting there getting makeup put on you for hours,
right.
And you're wearing things that are uncomfortable. So if you're a negative, complaining type person, very quickly people are like, "We're never working with him again."
That's true. You probably picked the wrong profession at that point.
You have to be mentally strong. You have to be in a great mood. You have to have a great attitude, or they're just going to get someone who might not even be as talented, but has a better attitude and is easier to be around for 12 or 14 hours a day.
That similar comes up a lot with my independent, a lot of friends who make independent films is if people like having you around, they're going to have you on their movies.
It
seems kind of like basic sense, but yeah,
kind of common sense.
It's not anybody can act. It's all, you work hard at the drills of certain things and you study and you understand what marks are and stuff. You learn the logistical things. Anybody can understand that stuff. Anybody can play the sport, but then it's all the intangibles and all the stuff that everyone has in their control. Like I love asking people so I can learn, producers or whatever, hey, who did you like working with on the film? Other than me, who did you love working with on the film most and why? And it always comes down to, him, because he was always the most prepared. He was always he had the best attitude. Or, it was her. She was the most grateful to be there every day. We never really had to even think about her. She would just sit over there and be ready. And when she came up, she was ready to go and prepared and knew her stuff. It's never, well, he's the best. Well, she's the talented. They're just the nicest. And Doug is both. Doug Jones is incredibly talented and skilled. I don't even like the word talent, skilled. He's worked hard at the skills he has. And he has a great body for it as well. But he is the sweetest, kindest, most gentle human being you would ever meet. When he hugs you, you're like, oh my gosh, who are you? Wow. Like he is such, he'll pinch your cheeks. And, oh my gosh, child. Oh my gosh. He is such a just huge heart. And Dwayne Johnson is the same. Dwayne has ego, never talks back to what I'm Dwayne Johnson. He never, 5 things he says to the director anytime the director says something. Yes, that's right. Absolutely. Got it. Thanks. All he says.
Wow.
He comes to set with 3 hours of sleep. He worked out twice that morning and had meetings. No joke. Because I'd ask him, can you sleep last night? Hell no, man. I woke me up with this and that. I did my workouts and I had a couple meetings and I came here. Yeah. But he has the best attitude. He chooses to. And that's something that if someone is trying to make in this industry, check yourself and make sure you're the most positive, encouraging, uplifting person in the room. And that's going to get people to, because if you were going to hire people and you knew someone who fits something, who are you going to go to? The person over here who's awesome, but gosh, they complain about everything. They're like, you know what? They're not the best in the world, but man, they give it their best. And they're so nice and they're so positive and they're so grateful. It's going to be that person. And so it's those things that they don't focus on in an acting class that you actually, that's going to book you. That's why you see actors who are like, that guy sucks. Why is he in everything? Right? Because he is such an incredible person to be around. But then if you can up your skills as well, which you need to have some base skills and the better you get with that, you're untouchable. You'll work. People will want you on everything. You'll have to say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I won't name names, but like there's been really big actors who, after they stop making a couple hits, then they're not in anything, and people probably know those names, and that's why, because people didn't like being around them, and if they're no longer making the big bucks just being in a movie, no one wants to hire them.
I've heard people name drop. We worked for such and such, and and he was okay, but he didn't have the best attitude, so we'll probably never work with him ever again. That quickly, or he just wasn't prepared every day, just didn't have his lines, and so we'll probably who else can we get? And it's just it's that fast, it's that simple. Yeah.
Yeah, word of mouth's got to mean so much, as far as things like that go.
And I have to say, Doug Bradley comes up, not Doug, well, he does too, but Doug comes up a lot as people mention that he's a mentor of theirs.
Oh,
80 to 90% of the projects and stuff I've gotten to work on was I just knew someone who recommended me and vouched for me. And then still the other 10 or 20% is my agents and my manager recommending me and vouching for me. And then I get in the room and I do the best I can, So it's all about somebody getting you can't do it yourself. Yeah.
Is there a movie that something that you played in that we talked about, like a lot of the ones I think people know of? Is there any that kind of flies on the radar that you would like people to check out?
Not really. I mean, I've been very fortunate to work on some great known projects. It's really, which is very, I haven't worked on a ton of things, but I've been, it's very strange and that it's just other things haven't even come my way when I have nothing going on that I'd be like, well, I'm not doing anything, so sure. But it's I've been very blessed that a lot of the things that have come since I moved out to LA have been big studio things, and a lot of times where I'm on the poster, hidden,
okay. Yep.
But Ryu or Dragon Head or a gorilla or something, So it's pretty. I'm very lucky. I'm very very grateful for the opportunities I've had. There's nothing really. If you're a video gamer in Last of Us Part 2, 1 in every 4 runners, the infected humans that run around, that's me.
Oh, okay.
The voice. I booked that voiceover, and I'm such a fan of that franchise and anything Naughty Dog does. So if you're a video gamer and you played Last of Us Part 2, you've killed me a dozen times, or maybe I killed you a dozen times.
Right. So are you working on anything currently?
Nothing. No, I have no idea what's next. It'll come out of nowhere as it always does. We were close but no cigar to half a dozen awesome things this year, but it's just they can only choose one. It's just how it goes. And something else I've come to learn, you see people who are like, I want to do what they do. You want to go through 100 no's? Or they got so close, if you're going to find a needle in a haystack, you got to go through a lot of hay, and so it's there's a lot of those, but yeah, we'll see something. There's some things that people I've worked with in the past, and I know they're in development or they've announced that they're making, and I've connected with them and said, hey, I know with that franchise, there's that character, I want it. And they're like, we will reach out when the time is right. Absolutely. So we'll see when those come to pass. And so we'll, if they do, and if they choose me, but I definitely, we'll see. We'll see. I feel like 2023 is going to be an awesome year for everybody in every part of the world. So it's going to be huge. Speaking that into, manifesting that and finding ways to make that happen.
Yeah, and we only have there's only a few more days till we get there, so that's good.
Yes, very quickly.
And how can people follow you? Not back to your home, but online to see what
my address is the best place, which I'm only on there so much, is Instagram, which I am officially me now. I'm actually, I am officially Jason, but the Jason Liles. Liles, all one word, because Jason Liles is taken. So I was like, okay, well, I'll be the Jason Liles.
I like it. Yeah.
And there is a name of me on Twitter, but I'm never on there. I don't have the app on my phone. So Instagram is the best way.
I'm not a big fan of Twitter either. Even before anything that's happened, I've never really
don't have time to be like, I'm eating lunch right now.
Well, I'm on all of them because of the show, but I do feel like I'm just kind of sending the same thing on 3 different things. Like, check out the show.
If someone wants to say hey or send a message request or comment on something or see what's up, which I rarely post on there. I posted about Hellraiser, and before Hellraiser, I probably posted half a dozen times in like a year. I wait till there's something to post about.
And you had some fun behind the scenes photos on your Instagram.
Yeah, I took a lot when I was at Hellraiser over in Serbia, and so I have a lot more I could post to, and there's still stuff I've held on to that I was kind of waiting for, like, well, when they announced the Death Note sequel, well, when they announced the Rampage sequel, well, they haven't, so I should probably just post that stuff. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Instagram, the Jason Liles, and I'll have the little official check next to it.
Oh, all right. The official guy. All right. Well, this has been very cool. It was very awesome to talk with you.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. I should have asked how long you had before. I didn't ask. It's almost been 2 hours.
I was looking at the time being like, how long are we going to go? I can keep going. But actually, I would have to go in 15 minutes. So I was about to be like, I gotta go, but
I normally ask before, but I forgot to ask. So
I know it's been fun. I like, I don't like just talking about me, but like I like talking about this type of stuff. And my biggest hope is that if there's anyone listening who, if someone's told you you're to this or you're not enough of that, it's probably going to be what actually makes you stand out and help you get into areas that other people can't. And if anyone says, I don't think you can do that, check their fruit on the tree. See if they actually have any results in that area. Because I had a lot of people tell me that, but I actually looked at, they had never achieved anything close to what I wanted to achieve. And then I started going to Broadway stage doors and asking this Oscar-winning actor, or this Tony Award-winning actor, or Doug Jones, or whoever. And they're like, who said you're too tall? There's not enough people too tall. Dude, of course you can do it, man. People told me because of this or because of that. And so the people who have the results said, of course you can. And the people who didn't have the results says, I don't think you can. So somebody's wrong. So you absolutely can. 98% of actors who have success don't make enough to live off of just from acting. So it could be one of multiple streams of income, like a fun money-making hobby when the opportunities come up. I kind of say, you're not right for everything. No matter, Jack Black's probably never going to play Batman. Although I would actually kind of like to see that.
Yeah, I'd pay for that one. Yeah,
like to see that. But he's not the traditional Bruce Wayne look, but but yeah, if anyone's listening, like you can absolutely do it. Like if you have any friends, I remember somebody in college one time said, "You're going to move to New York and be an actor," verbatim. And I was like, "I'm going to show you."
Good.
Thank you for the motivation. I didn't tell him that, but I thought it. And he doesn't remember that probably. And now he posts on Facebook, "Dude, I saw you were in the thing. That's awesome." And I was like, "I remember you 14 years ago that day in the dorm bathroom when you laughed in my face." Use that, and just get around people who have the results that you want. Do what they did and you'll have what they have. But you have to be willing to work, and you got to know how to listen to the right people.
I like that advice. Very good.
Yep, absolutely.
And I always like to hear that Doug Jones is a good guy. I was looked up quick. Matthew Patrick Davis, we had on a few weeks ago, who played the Mother and Barbarian.
Yeah,
very similar things about Doug Jones, about him being his mentor and stuff. So
if somebody doesn't like him, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like,
that's
you've never met him, or if you met him and you don't like him, what's wrong with you? Great for you. Like what? Like he's such a sweet, giving person, and he's a mentor of all different levels to so many people because he's such a giving. It's also no secret. He's kind of like, he's like, "Child, I'm done with all this makeups. I've done everything." I want to be the butler in the Lifetime movie who gives the advice to the daughter. Have 10 minutes of like verbatim. Saw him like a week or two ago. That is, he told me years ago, that's still his dream. That is his dream. He just 5 of those a year, and he's just, it'll be so good.
And he's good to go. Yep.
Nobody dies. Nobody comes up from hell. No makeup. Just 5 minutes of makeup, and just I have clothes and hands and eyes. That's all he wants to do at this point, unless Guillermo del Toro calls and he's like,
"Well, yeah,
I have to do it."
Yeah. Yeah, when the maestro calls you, I guess you're obligated.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, we'll let you go. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna play music for our music of the month, and then Troy and I are gonna come back. We're gonna take some Zoom calls since it's the last show of the year. If anyone wants to Zoom in and talk horror or nonsense, you can do so.
Awesome. Neal, Troy, thank you so much for having me, guys. Happy New Year.
Jason, thank you. Come on anytime.
Absolutely. Next time something comes out, we'll chat about it.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Right. Sounds good. All right.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Be right back. Anyone needs to use the restroom, but then you can Zoom it. It's withoutyourhead.com/Zoom. I see some people in the waiting room already. We'll bring you in about 4 minutes. All right. Thank you. Now, I do have this music ready. I should have. It's very smooth here. Very smooth transition. Here we go.
Oh, very good. All right, I will be back.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
But soon you'll find the Whittler and the king.
My timing was good.
Yes. All right. Back here without your head. A big thanks to Jason Liles. We're taking Zoom calls. You can zoom in. It's withoutyourhead.com/Zoom. And I will also post this link in the chat. We've got a couple people here joining us. Well, one's very exciting. We have George Mars with us. First time caller here to the show. Hello, George.
Welcome.
Whoa. What the hell is he doing? All right, I think we'll get rid of George Mars. Screen. All right. We will remove this person and we will report them to. All right. Very weird.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Very odd people. Now he waited all that time. He's been zooming in for like an hour. But look, we have Michael St. Michael's on the line with us.
Yahoo! That's a good thing.
Is it?
We win. We win.
Yes.
Well, can I share in the winnings? Where's my other fucking light?
Very good to see you, Michael.
It's good to be seen. It's good to see you too. How you been?
Very good. Very good.
Was Santa good to you this year?
He was, yes. Both to Troy and I. You
Yep.
never met Troy in person.
No, we've talked on on the show, but I've never met Michael. That's on my short list. He's on my it's on my bucket list.
Well, that's one thing you can dump out now.
So how are you doing? How was Santa to you?
Well, I actually had rather a good time. I found my other light. I went to a white elephant and ugly sweater party.
Nice.
Oh, very cool.
And had a good time, got drunk, got fat.
All in that one night.
Yep, that worked.
Then you lost it all the next day. You lost all the weight the next day.
Yeah. Well, it was a shitty experience, but what can I say?
All right. We also have Creepy Craig is joining us as well.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
The gang's all here now.
Yeah, makeup artist. Very cool.
Can
to
you
have
hear
here,
me?
Craig. Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, great.
Yeah. You can hear you.
Oh, awesome.
He's got like a buzzard in front of him or something?
Okay,
What's going on?
now this is a little thing. Probably
Ooh.
you guys might. Do you remember this? Well, let me see if you can even see it. Hold on. I don't know how to get the. None. Sorry. That buzzard belongs to this model kit. Troy may recognize it.
I do indeed. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the buzzard. That's the vulture. So I'm
That's
actually
awesome.
Yeah. So that's what
Right,
that's why the buzzard is there. Sorry.
We were thinking of you at where were we, Neal, when we saw like the old model with the spring activated model with the skeleton.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
the
think
old
it was
Kyle
at was it at the thrift store?
Maybe it was. And
Or
I was like, oh
Savers?
my God, that's the best. Yep. We should have bought
Yeah,
it.
it's the old Pirates of the Caribbean kits.
Yep.
From I think it was MPC or Adar had them. Yeah, well, they came out with them again.
Oh, they like re-released them?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yep. That might have been the one. Might have been the
Yeah,
one
that's
with the
very
wheel.
cool. Mhm. Yeah, we got the pirates there.
Yeah.
So for people don't know, last time I saw Michael too was well, let's see. Last time I saw Craig, I believe, was at Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival, and the last time I saw Michael was at the premiere of our film, The Once and Future Smash, which was very exciting.
How do I get to see you guys? I can't. That's only on me.
Oh, you're only seeing yourself?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm only seeing myself.
I think you have to go to view and hit gallery.
All right, I'll try to do this. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Take my evening pills. I'll be, they're all in a container. I just need to pour a cup of coffee and
All right.
I shall return, and when I
All
do,
right.
I'll
all right. Very good.
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's going on? How many models you got there? You got a nice little collection.
Oh my God. These are the ones I have finished. Those are the old Planet of the Apes ones.
Oh, rock on.
You saw those. There's the monsters.
Oh, sweet.
The other Planet of the Apes. The Godzilla ones, and
Sweet.
then more of the monsters.
There's Ghidorah. We just
Yeah,
talked.
we were just talking about
Yep.
that.
Yeah. And just to give you a little thing, this is actually, you've heard me talk about Dick Smith, and you probably know.
Oh yeah.
So those are actually original Dick Smith pieces.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm literally going across my basement. Those are pieces from other movies.
Well, that's too cool,
There's-
though.
There's that. I don't know if you can see it there. There's
Oh, yeah.
Gorgo, and we got Prisoner, and I'll show you quite a mess. Pardon the mess, but those are all one of my unmade kits.
Oh wow.
Oh, you got enough to keep busy for a while.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah,
Is that a
some in
He-Man
this
one?
bag.
Did I see He-Man?
He-Man?
Oh,
They must not have been.
No, there's no He-Man.
All right. Matthew here. Matthew Hill says awesome models.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Matthew.
Thank you. And there's some in that one too. And here's another oldie. Sorry, I'm trying to do it. Can you see it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Godzilla.
Awesome.
That's a giant T-Rex, and that's all filled with other model kits that I made and fell apart. And then there's a few more of those prehistoric scenes. That's one of the other ones I've
Oh,
actually
yeah.
built.
Yep.
Oh, that's
And
very
there's
cool.
they've been drinking.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen those in so long.
Yeah, and there's some Mazinga, that and
Yeah,
Rising.
the great Mazinga. Awesome.
Yep, and there's that thing down there. And speaking of those, let me show you these.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Are
Troy
those
used
the
to
old
have them.
Shogun warriors? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Then he
the Shogun
passed them down
Warriors.
to me when I was a little boy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Godzilla's great with that set, too.
Yeah, I think I have it somewhere, but of course I lost the arm that
Oh.
shot off, and God knows where that is.
That always happened. I think our dog ate at least 3 of those.
As a way to push out the stool, I guess, with the fist. I know.
Yeah.
How you guys all right? You guys doing good?
Yeah, all things are
Yeah.
good here.
Good
I'm
holiday?
doing good.
Excellent.
Are you snowed in there?
No, we got no
Oh,
snow
good.
at all here in New York, Long Island.
Okay.
None at all. I've
'Cause
been
I
hearing
know,
all this stuff going on with Greg. Yeah.
Yeah, Greg snowed in there in Buffalo.
Oh,
maybe we'll do
Buffalo
some
got
riding.
beaten, I guess. They got
Yeah.
beat down.
By the way, I do have to mention the good people at Summer Everest supplied me with this very cool shirt here that I'm
That
wearing.
is an awesome shirt.
That is a badass shirt, Neal. I like
That
that
is a
one.
real cool shirt.
Yeah. So in the coming weeks, I'll be wearing a lot of shirts from the good people at Summer Everest, and I think you should check them out.
I'll do it.
Certainly will. I'm always interested in getting a cool shirt.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I forgot something because tonight I'm also going to open Christmas presents that people sent me, so people can watch me open presents. I left them up in the upstairs. I'm going to go grab them quick. So you talk to Craig real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, I'm just going to do a gloat.
I'll be
type
right
thing.
back. Very briefly.
This is my award for being the world's greatest actor.
Nice.
Yeah. And this is, I'm not sure, but somebody sent this to me.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Nope, that's the best.
And well, the rest of it's, oh yeah, I have a Greasy Strangler mug, which you can almost see.
I could see it for a moment. Yep. Very
Yeah, well, a quick flash of that's all you need.
good. Yep. And I like
and
the Big Mike hoodie.
Shirt that got a cease and desist letter because it said Big Mike and not Big Ronnie.
Oh. So that's a no then, I guess.
Yes, I know. So I thought, oh yeah, and here my my screen debut.
Wow.
That was
Video
the
dead.
screening I actually didn't go to. I showed the movie at a bar that I used to hang out at instead, which is a good thing to do. Kept me drunk for the rest of my time in San Francisco.
That's awesome.
What's your drink of choice?
At the time, I was just drinking mostly gin and tonic with a quinine, you know.
Okay.
I drink bourbon and water now. Well, actually, I drink bourbon flavored water.
Oh, okay. Oh, I remember that now when we went out to eat. You were a tall glass with a little bit of bourbon. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
a
like
lot
that.
of water. No ice, because the ice will fuck you up.
Yeah, that's the hard stuff. You got to stay away from. Literally, it's the hard stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I found my new favorite gin is Sweet Gwendolyn. It's a French gin and it's out of sight. I love it. And it's got like the old John Willie Sweet Gwendolyn illustration on the bottle. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I just
You did
drink. I drink black coffee and seltzer water.
I don't drink enough.
I limit myself now to very expensive champagne.
Fancy lad over here.
Get that. So far, I haven't made a movie big enough that my entire paycheck would buy a bottle of it, but I keep hoping.
So I hope this isn't annoying if I open presents that people sent me in front of everybody. But so here's one from Goblin House.
Oh,
So they're a little late here, but I promised everyone I would open them on the show. I have no idea what's in these.
I'm intrigued.
You got a Goblin House keychain,
Nice.
like a witch.
Nice.
That's very nice. I like that. We have a Goblin House pin. That's very nice. I will wear that on the show. A Goblin, I believe this is all Goblin House stuff. Goblin House beer koozie, which is very nice. I'll put that on my Coca-Cola. Goblin House magnets. Very cool. And then we got some cool patches here. We got, oh, nice. 20 years
You're
of
a
Goblin
patch
House
man.
patches.
Nice.
Yeah. There you
Very
go.
nice. Thank you, the fine people of Goblin House. I've bought many patches from them, so thank you.
Merry
And
Christmas.
Thank you. We got one more here, and this is from he's in the chat room. This is from Diablo Joe, who does our our movie reviews.
Always enjoy his reviews.
Yes, he's a good man. He does a lot of cool reviews. Unlike Jason Mitten, who just gave up on horror. He like found the Lord, and but Jason is gonna come to Atlanta to see our movie.
Oh, very good.
That's
So
cool.
if you didn't get out to LA to see it with everybody, that was a really cool experience. It played a lot of places, but it is coming to Atlanta. And I think it's also going to be playing at another convention festival in England. But I'm sure it'll be playing more.
When
places.
is the Atlanta one?
March.
Okay.
What convention is that?
Renegades.
Oh, okay. Because I know they have the
yes.
big Dragon Con usually in September.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is a movie festival.
Oh,
So
okay.
we go. Oh, nasty one. Hope you enjoy this Diablo Joe bloody hell saw. Oh, I won't read that.
Oh.
I'll read that after we open.
Is there any chance of getting into South Korea?
Korea, I don't know. That I'll look into that.
Because that market's incredible. I did something that showed up there.
South Korea, not North Korea. Yeah.
And I actually got checks. So
sweet. Well, that would be good. Yeah.
Just, I had 2 days on that film.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That would be nice.
Yeah,
So,
I thought so too, but that's a market with a lot of money behind it for some reason.
Right.
Although they crank out a lot of good stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
And we'll
is,
get ripped off and shown all over China. So,
Diablo Joe bloody hell sauce. It's got the without your head Diablo Joe logo on it. That's very cool. We'll put that right up here. I don't have
You're
much
running
room.
out of room, Chief.
No, I put up all these I put up a bunch of decorations for New Year's.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so have you down that whole bottle for New Year's?
A bottle of hot
Yeah, when we
sauce?
do shots, you'll have to do a shot of the hot sauce still.
So I hope you enjoy this Diablo Joe bloody hell sauce made by my friend Chef Dan Lane. If you like it, maybe we'll get to make more. Oh, very cool.
Ooh.
Actually, that's something maybe we could look at. We could collaborate on. Maybe we could get some make a greasy hot sauce. Maybe we could work with some of our buddies here, like Michael.
Oh, that'd be
Michael.
badass. Yeah.
We'll figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah, we had an olive oil, but
Exactly. Yeah. You make in the room there, I believe.
Yeah, but we had these little bottles of olive oil with the Greasy Strangler.
Oh, you actually did make them. I thought you were making a joke, but that's very cool.
Yeah, that
No, it's extra virgin,
nice.
which I found out means that somebody actually tasted it.
I wonder how does something be extra virgin?
Well, it's because with olive oil, it means somebody who made it actually tasted it.
Oh.
They didn't say whether they liked it or not. It just,
It's the worst olive oil you've ever had.
it's just extra virgin. Somebody else tasted it, so it's probably safe to die unless they died too.
Let's see. Don't stab. They were worried I was going to stab myself open. Oh, it's fine. All right, maybe I'll try this hot sauce live on the show here.
Oh,
It's not like you're running with scissors. So
yep.
No, sitting with scissors.
you can always see Gene Wilder in Young Frankenstein.
That's I don't know if I've told this story before, but maybe not on the show. So one night I was taking an Uber home from the bus stop, and there was a young the driver was pretty young, like probably in his 20s, and he's like, "Oh, where'd you come from?" And I was like, "I was up in Boston at this marathon watching old horror movies." And he's like, "Oh," and so I was telling him Frankenstein, and then he started, "Oh, I just saw that for the first time." He starts explaining it. And then I realized he's talking about Young Frankenstein. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I saw the original one, the first one they made, the old black and white one." And then he started going, I was like, "Oh, God, he's talking about Young Frankenstein." I didn't bother telling him. I was like,
Oh.
Do I just drink this? I don't
I
know.
would.
Go for it.
Oh God, dude.
It's very good. It is. If the heat hits you afterwards, it was very sweet at first. But
Neal's burning his tongue off. He's like, "Oh, it's great."
It's almost like a tight sweet chili sauce where it's sweet and then the heat hits you after.
So did you meet Satan for a hot second there?
And I'm all out of drinks here, but that was
Oh,
good.
beautiful. So you're gonna.
Thank you, Diablo Joe. I like that.
You won't be able to feel your lips in a couple of minutes.
Who needs some?
Be hot shits in the morning.
Yeah, hotter coming out than going in, maybe. So did you end up getting tacos for your final for the final Taco Tuesday of 2022?
Yes, of course.
Nice.
You
At the
know,
same place we went to, or was it a different place?
It was a different place. There's, what I've been craving lately is a hamburger, and there used to be like a ton of hamburger places around here, and they're all gone.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
now I can get. Well, I have limited range on my scooter, so, but I can get to three different taco places. And the one I like the best is they serve these old school deep fried, corn tortillas with some ground meat of dubious nature covered in lettuce and tomatoes and onions. And they give you this salsa that's can cause second and third degree chemical burns. Right.
I remember you were getting extra hot sauce when we were out for tacos.
Now I'm hungry. Now I could go for tacos right now.
Yeah, all I had was some soup.
I'm sorry, you missed it. You'll have to wait till next year.
Well, if we all get together in Atlanta, I'm sure they got some kind of burger joint somewhere.
Yeah, I saw Bill was upset that he missed out on tacos when we were there. He thinks we ducked out on him.
You're holding out the tacos from them, huh?
Exactly. Well, do you have anything coming up, Michael? Any conventions or anything?
I really don't know. The last thing I went to was, Lexington, Kentucky, and that was an amazing experience. People either there thought I was God or they didn't have a clue. I got taken to this restaurant, and I noticed walking in, there's there's pictures of presidents and Kentucky Derby winners and all.
Oh, nice.
And by the end of the evening, because the people who owned the restaurant liked the movie, they took my picture to put up on that wall.
Oh, that's
really
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And I wish I could afford to go there. The cheapest thing on the menu was a $98 6-ounce steak.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And fortunately, we were being hosted by some fan who loved us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, sir, but you'll always be in my heart.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Jason, who I mentioned earlier, he lives in Kentucky. I was at that convention once. The one in Kentucky. Is it? I forget the name of it now. Fright? Is it not Fright Fest? That's in Scare Fest. Is it?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I've got a thing hanging up on my wall of shame, but
But yeah, that's a really cool convention, and the fans there, yeah, they were really cool. It was, that was a good time. So Troy, I
Tell
saw
people,
that.
Michael, I'd say that that's when I won the Kentucky Derby a couple years ago.
Right.
yeah.
Just tell them that.
Then your picture's up on that wall too.
When I was
never quite short enough to be a jockey, though. That's my problem.
I am, but I'm not light enough.
Well, we can fix that.
That's what the chief
Oh, the basketball player?
yeah
Patrick Ewing?
No, he played for the Celtics.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
I can't think of his name now. Shame on me. But he always wanted to be a jockey, and when he was 12 years old and he was 6'1", he realized it probably wasn't going to happen.
I think he did all right for himself.
Yeah, he probably did all right. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of jockeys wishing they were playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
Well, he'd be all right if he rode a Clydesdale or
That's true. If you get something like 20 hands high, he'd be good. Yeah. If you're 7'1", you need a pretty
That
big
could
horse.
be a new
I guess.
sport. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the giant Clydesdale.
Yeah. They put the horse on his back and he
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
here in Long Beach, they used to breed Shires, which are just the next horse down from the Clydesdale for big draft horses.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the light tractor of the Middle Ages. Knights rode on them also.
Yeah. They were badass. I love those.
When I was in Kentucky, Jason took me out for a thing called the Kentucky Hot Brown.
That sounds illegal in some states.
Well, I can't remember exactly what it was. It's like a big mess.
Were you unconscious when you got it?
They roofied him and they gave him a hot brown and told him afterwards.
Let's see. I'm trying to It's basically just like
You should have
bread
punished him
topped
with
with
the hot sauce.
Yeah. You'll get him back next time. Yeah.
it's like bread covered in bacon and cheese and turkey and melted cheese and gravy.
Wow. All right. I could go. I'll get the tacos and a hot brown.
Yeah.
Good.
I remember it being pretty good, I'll be honest, but I guess like if you just pile everything on some bread, it's got to be not too bad.
Yep.
Is your doctor on speed dial after eating that?
That was when I was very heavy, but yeah. I don't make a normal habit of eating the Kentucky hot brown. I didn't get any Kentucky Fried Chicken though when I was in Kentucky.
They might have big shrines in Kentucky to the Colonel.
I think they do. I was let down when we went to London, and you think, there's all these old restaurants, and then you go there and it's KFC and Pizza Hut and Applebee's.
You were looking for like the bloody lamb or something.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
The slaughtered lamb.
Yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to get Applebee's when I'm in London.
Yep.
I don't want to get Applebee's when I'm here.
Exactly.
You were just in London again, weren't you?
Yeah, this year for our movie premiered there. That was very cool.
Yeah.
What did you say, Michael? Sorry.
Bloody lamb. That sounds good though.
Yeah, it does.
It does. That'll be our new pub.
I love dead sheep. I think that's the meat to eat.
Yeah,
It's
they're
part of my-
easier.
Easier than the live one. Yeah.
They don't fight as much. Sorry.
Kind of off-putting when they're just watching you. They're just looking at you while you're chowing down on Didn't you once, Troy, in Chinatown? You went to this restaurant and they came out and they served you lobster, and the lobster itself was still alive, and like you're supposed to eat the tail while
Yeah,
it's living.
that was just weird. I had a tough time with that. It's like, I don't know, anything that's looking at me when I'm trying to eat it, like, no, I can't do it.
A softie.
Yep, exactly. That's why
Yeah,
I
I
never
ate a lot
became
of
like
crab
a
legs.
cannibal.
I don't know.
Oh
I guess
yeah,
that's why you can't find crab legs anymore. They were all at the Christmas Eve dinner.
oh,
Yeah, they have them at the Chinese buffet, but then everyone goes up and like they battle you for them so they can get them all.
Yeah.
true. Neil and I had some good lamb at the Rodizio yesterday.
Yeah, at the Brazilian Grill, we had really good
Yeah.
lamb. A few years ago at the place down there, it's not here anymore actually, but they did the what was it, the game night where it was like all like game meat.
Oh yeah, they had the wild boar and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a fun time.
yeah,
You guys ever eat alligator?
I
Yeah.
have, yeah.
yep.
Tastes just like chicken.
Oh,
I love it.
I had smoked eel too at a Filipino
Ooh,
thing.
I love eel. Especially smoked eel. I love it.
Yeah, it was I used to do hair for these fashion shows, and then most of the time they'd have some kind of party after, and this was well, they had smoked eel.
How did you get into doing hair, being a hairstylist?
I just thought it was an easy way to get laid, and I was like,
Why did you leave it then?
I know.
I got bored.
There's too many ladies. Yeah.
I had to make my exit from San Diego rather hurriedly. I woke up one morning and I saw this naked woman in the street across the street from my place saying that the guy inside was a drug dealer and he kept the stuff over there and pointed to my place. I found a big bag of cocaine and another bag of Quaaludes without really even looking. I mean, they were stuck under piles of dirty laundry. And I ran out, I got dressed, I grabbed a Bible, it was a Sunday morning, and ran back to the laundry room because these were like little cabin or, facing each other in a courtyard. And I was coming out of that as the police were starting to pound on my door, and they looked at me and asked me who I was. I gave them the name of the manager of the complex, and they said, "Where are you going?" And I held up my Bible and said, "Church," and walked away. And ended up in San Francisco and
Wow.
ended up getting into the movie business because I met these people on acid during moratorium day in the 60s, I guess. And we were on acid wandering around Big Sur, and we ran into this other group of people who were wandering around on acid in Big Sur. And they ended up being, well, they were movie editors, and they got me in when I came up to San Francisco after my great escape. And then somebody, because I was there, they said, will you be in our play? And I thought, sure. I sucked. I was horrible. I played 3 different characters. It was Visions of Simone. It was, what's his name? That famous German author, Bertolt Brecht. Yeah.
Okay.
And I played a French sergeant, then I played a French refugee, and then I played a German stormtrooper. So it kind of looked like I, deserted and then joined the other side by the end of the play.
You
So you
acted
had
before that,
no,
or
go on, Troy. Sorry.
no? I was just wondering, had you acted at all before that, or
Yeah, that's what
it
I
was
was gonna
just
ask.
something? Yeah, you just kind of
High
fell into.
school.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Did you fall in love with acting eventually? Did you like it right away? Or
No, but it's one of the few things I know how to do. You know, I got some good advice from some great people. It consisted of pretty much just have a thought in your head and let go of your face.
that's
and be-
interesting. Let go of your
Mm.
face.
Huh?
What does
Michael
that mean? Let
Caine
go of
told
your
me-
face. What was that? Sorry.
Michael Caine told me that.
No way.
Really? That's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Wow.
It was I don't know, it was a movie. I was an extra, and it was a movie with you know, that big guy who was a cop or something, or became a cop. And it was about the oil fields in Alaska and pollution and
Oh yeah, the guy with the ponytail. I can't think.
yeah. I was in a couple things with him.
Seagal,
Not-
Steven
Steven
Seagal.
Seagal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, my great quick memory of names is
Yeah, but that was good though. You
rapidly in this business.
you had the good description though. You know, big guy that wanted to be a cop, and like that was him.
What was he like? Because I've heard, some people don't have great stories about Steven Seagal.
I don't really either. I mean, he just, he looked at me and he said, you should be a movie star. And I said, okay, give me something in this film. And he just turned around and left.
I think that's an amazing story.
That one, it's easy to imagine though. Yeah, yeah.
Then he just gets up and leaves. Yeah. What else do you need? Yeah. So when you first started acting, so you did a play. When did you start getting into the movies?
Well, that was like 81, I think. The first film I was an extra in The Woman in Red.
Oh yeah.
And there was a shot of me wearing a tweed coat, pointing. But that was even on the news the next
Oh, really?
day. I was there for several days. So I saw the back of my head, which I consider my good side, and, my arm up. And that's what was in the movie too. And then, I don't know, in Thief of Hearts, I was a photo double for, I don't remember his name either, but there was a sailing scene, and I got that gig because I knew how to sail. And there was this, the lines kept getting tangled. So they didn't set up the boat properly. And I got out there. I finally got it done, and I turned around and went, "Hey!" And they left that in the.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
They left that in the theatrical release of the film. It got quickly edited out of the VHS, and it was not there when it was on TV either. But,
And I was going to go and get a copy of that one,
yeah. And I did several things like that. I did a PSA for child molesters.
Pro or con?
Not really sure. It just had a kid around a playground with a candy bar in my
Michael's here going, strangers' candy tastes the best.
And
I just painted my van.
I got a voiceover gig after that. That was fun. They took me to this incredible lunch. I did a thing for the Redwoods of California, promoting cutting them down, of course.
Oh,
And,
no. Oh.
And then they gave me a bag of pot and $60. Yeah.
How was the women compared to the hairdressing?
Well, I never got laid more than 5 times in a day, but it was pretty good.
I bet. I can imagine.
So when
Those
you were
candy
getting,
bars paid off.
yes, when you're giving blowouts, you're really getting blowouts.
Yeah, sometimes. I learned how to do really good shampoos. I mean, if you can give a woman an orgasm while you're shampooing her hair, I'm pretty sure you're going to be leaving with her when her hair's done.
Well, which hair were you shampooing?
You know,
Oh, that's okay. All right. Sorry, I just turned off half your audience. Sorry.
I got lucky. I got rated in the top 10% internationally as a hair.
Wow.
Wow.
But
Do you do
That's
your
what I
own
love
hair?
about Michael, though, because like every time we talk to him, I learn something new. It's just the neatest thing.
well, that's because I'm an old fart and I couldn't hold the job.
See, I'm on the opposite end. Like I've been at the same job for 37 years, so you know.
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I think you should style Troy's hair. He's got very long, thick hair.
That'd be cool.
Bring it over.
I don't have enough hair to style anymore, I don't think.
Do something fun with your beard, though.
Near rinse and a buffing cloth.
Just shine it up. That would be. Now I'm all about that video. I think that would be a good video. Do you do your own hair?
Pretty much. Yeah, if it hits me in the eye, I cut it off. And that's about it.
I think someone's calling up to
Yeah,
get
somebody was
their hair
ringing,
done. I
but
think.
yeah.
Hello. Hey,
Hey,
I'm good. We're on what are we on here?
without your head.
We're on Without Your Head. Yeah. Huh? Well, that too, but I mean, I'm on a blog on the internet. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Like-
want to. I feel awkward
that's
talking
maybe
over him while
blog.
he's talking on the phone. I don't want to be rude.
I'm doing interviews. I'm talking to Cynthia. And I really regret not saying that one of the best things that happened to me last year was you coming down for my birthday.
Aw, that's
And
really
I
sweet.
really regretted that. Not saying that.
Yeah, he didn't regret that you came down. He regretted not telling everyone. Right.
Yeah, I know. And I don't want to add to it. So I'm, you don't have to help.
This is a pin from our movie.
Well,
Oh, okay.
So while he's
We're
talking,
getting
have you guys seen any of the ads for the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey?
I saw the first trailer, but I haven't seen any since then.
I'm really
I think I've
interested.
seen
in
some
this.
pictures of the makeup and
Yeah,
things
because
like that,
Winnie
yeah.
the Pooh, it's public domain now, so they made a horror
Yeah.
film.
right. He as long as he doesn't wear the red shirt, I think is what I heard.
Hmm.
Oh, was
'Cause
the
that might
red
be
shirt
owned
like
by
a Disney
Disney.
thing?
The Disney is the red shirt.
Oh,
Him wearing the
okay.
red shirt, which was funny. He had clothes here, but he was totally
Well, call me when that happens.
balling it on the bottom.
Yeah.
Money.
And Eeyore, I think Eeyore's in it, so Eeyore must also be from. I wonder what characters are like Disney created.
I think Tigger is.
Oh, okay,
I
so
don't think Tigger's.
Well,
there's
yeah.
no killer Tigger.
I don't think so.
He'll bounce on your head and crush your
Yeah.
skull.
I saw Metropolis is coming up next year. That'll be public domain.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like,
So what is
you
it, like
saw-
100 years or something?
Yeah, 100. So
Yeah.
maybe, I guess we'll probably see Winnie the Pooh visits Metropolis at some point.
He's in the bottom. Just
Yeah. I could see that.
Well, life has a big
what if he's not really talking to anyone?
forever.
I've
That would be
thought
the
that
best.
myself too. Yeah,
That would be awesome.
very possible. Very possible. So
I'm telling you though, whenever we've talked to him, or like it's like you don't realize what a Renaissance guy is. Like there's all these weird little facets of him.
Yeah, he
that,
talks about
you just
some,
never know.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
he talked about some wild jobs he had when we were out in LA. But I don't want to ruin these in case he tells the story. But he had some very bizarre jobs too.
It's like always fascinating when you get these people who just sort of live that life.
Oh,
It's almost
yeah.
like that sort of,
He's
quote,
like
unquote,
living
hippie
in
life.
he's living in like a Woody Allen movie or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Annabelle and I were at his apartment there, and it's just filled with art. He's got like he's got like an original Dali like sketch or something.
That's
He
just
knew
so
him and stuff.
badass.
I think
That's
he's got a
just so
picture with
awesome.
Dali, and yeah, it's wild.
Wow.
No, I haven't noticed.
Wow. Yeah.
That's why if he makes a scene in Atlanta, I'd like to go, like just all hang out. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Do you know
Jason's
when is those
coming.
dates?
What's that?
You know the dates for Atlanta?
It's
I think
I think it's early March.
Take gummy bears.
I'll get them, but it's Renegade Film Festival.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up then.
If I don't have, I'm back on SNL again, so I think
Oh,
may be one of those weekends, and maybe that weekend, because I think we have off the last weekend in March.
okay.
Yeah, I
I
know
would
it's
love to see it because I haven't seen any of you guys.
I know.
I've never seen you in person.
No, I'd love to. It'd be
Yeah.
fun if we could get like the whole gang together, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll be at the
Jason's
cool
gonna
table.
try to come.
Yeah, he
Okay.
should.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll have to look at the schedule, but if I can, I haven't seen you since Buffalo Dreams Film Festival, and I've actually never personally have met you in person, Joe.
No, I know, because we were planning on getting together when
Yeah.
you were doing the
Oh,
thing
it's-
in B-Town.
It's the first
Yeah,
week of March, March 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Okay.
All right, so it'll have to be another time then.
Yeah, I'll look at the schedule, see what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I can even, play hooky. We'll see.
Right.
Now they're going to be wise to you.
Oh
watch-
shit!
Like,
No, I didn't. Oh god! I got the COVID. I can't
Yeah,
go.
exactly. You just add another line to the little tester kit. That's
Yeah,
what
right.
what I heard.
Just go.
Yep, exactly. Get a little blue marker. Ding, ding. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Can't make
Find
it. for
someone
me.
who's pregnant and just have them pee in it.
Yep.
So what else is going on? How you guys doing?
Everything's been good.
Yeah. The movie's out. Like I said, let's see. Severed Limbs, our film festival, will be coming up in February.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
That's
That'll
awesome.
be a good time.
This is Troy's first show back in quite a while.
It is.
Oh,
It is.
yeah.
And I don't know when I'll be back again. Although the powers that be, not next Monday, but the Monday after, they'll decide if I can go back on the overnight. And then if I do, then I'll be back.
Okay. You
So
know,
I
I
won't
saw.
be on next week.
Okay, I did see Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I
Yeah,
like
see
that
it.
too.
I like that one. The first vignette, the first story. I thought.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil
moment.
but I think the first 40 minutes of it's like a great movie. And then
Yeah.
I think once the Justin Long character is introduced, it's not as good to me. It becomes
Yeah.
more comedic. Plus, I think you kind of you know what's down there, so all the
Yeah.
tension is lost. I think.
Right.
That
I mean,
first 40
it's-
minutes, they really build a lot of because you don't even know what's going on at all.
Yeah, I
And
was
you-
on
you
the
thi-
edge of my seat like the
yeah,
first
you
almost
really
hour.
think
Yeah.
like, oh man, there's something up with this guy. If people don't know, it's like these two people both rented an Airbnb, and there's just this guy here, and there's all these kind of red flags. You think, well, this guy's not, there's not something not right here, but then he seems like a good guy. And then you think, well, maybe it's really maybe there's something up with her. They're just making you think it's this guy. So I really love that the first like 40 minutes
Yeah.
of it. And
I thought
To me-
Skarsgård was so good in it too. I
Yeah.
think he's like really good.
Yeah. I mean, I did. Yeah, I agree. It kind of got a little when it started getting really intertwining and stuff like this, and I was a little disappointed in the way it ended.
Yeah.
It's like it started becoming like a routine sort of slasher film that no matter what they did, it was there again, and no
Yeah.
matter what they did, it was there again, and it's just like, I know you,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. But I
Yeah.
haven't really seen too many horror films, to be honest with you.
I've seen a lot this year. I really did think it was
Yeah.
a good year for horror movies. I still
Yeah.
think Barbarians we're seeing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of we'll be doing our year-end show sometime next month sometime. So hopefully it'll be me, Troy, Trista, Justin, Bernard, Head, and Alok Mearsh. I think he wants to be on there. So but then you can zoom in too. So
Oh
yeah, we'll each have our top 13. That'll be fun to do.
been a lot
Yeah.
of good streaming horror stuff lately too, though.
Yeah.
Like Wednesday was good on Netflix. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've not watched it yet. But I've heard of
It's
it. I like
a little hard
Smile.
because I have a family, and sometimes I have to squirrel myself in the basement to see any
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing that the kids will find off-putting or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they still get a little like we've been actually watching a lot of Japanese Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
Those are crazy.
Oh my God!
Those are just so wacky.
If anyone enjoys what would it came out like in the 70s?
Yeah.
But in some weird way, it was better than the American
Well,
Spider-Man.
yeah, that one was pretty bad too.
So it's like we were talking before about the Corman Fantastic Four being the better of all the Fantastic Fours that came out. And in some ways, the Japanese Spider-Man is so much more, more fun.
I guess
It's insane.
like the guest story is saying that Doug Jones said that that costume was like the most comfortable, but he didn't mean it was comfortable. So that Fantastic Four movie is the best Fantastic Four movie. Doesn't mean it's a great movie, but it's the best of it's definitely
in
the
comparison.
Most, yeah. But it is funny, like that one's like so low budget and stuff, and it's fun, it's enjoyable. Then the other ones are giant budgets and they're just really like terrible.
And they got worse. I think the most recent one is the absolute worst thing. Just terrible.
I think when people just sort of try to put their own spin on something that people have been reading for almost 50 years.
Yep.
It's like, don't. One thing I did like about the new Batman is that we didn't see Batman's origin again.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I agree.
Yeah.
That I was happy about. I was like, yeah, we kind of know, even in like Suicide Squad, we saw the origins of the main characters.
Yeah.
But it's just
that's
like,
what I liked about
Batman
like
again.
the Spider-Man one, like the
'cause
most
we've seen,
recent one. It's like we
we've
don't need to
seen
see
the-
Uncle Ben again.
Yeah, we've seen that like in the last just 10 years. It seems like we've seen it 2 or 3 times, the origin of Spider-Man. Then with Batman, not only in the movies, because then they had the TV show, which is almost the origin of Batman. It's like how many times?
Oh yeah,
how many
with the
different
Gotham
versions
series.
of how many different versions of Joker? Like even like going on at the same time. You've got the Joker movie, then you had Joker in Suicide Squad, then you had like the Joker in the TV show.
Right.
That's what I couldn't understand about people being upset about James Gunn coming in to be like the head of DC, the movies and stuff. It's like, well, let the guy try to get some continuity going.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta clear house, but it doesn't mean they're off the table. It just means like we just clear the house. We get a fresh playing field. We see how it works, and then hey, all right, come on.
But I was surprised how good that. I really liked that new Batman movie. That was a really interesting take on Riddler.
Was it?
You know,
Yeah.
you
I
see
still
so
haven't
many
seen it. I
Jokers
still
and
haven't
stuff,
seen
so
the movie.
it was cool to see someone do something different with Riddler.
Yeah, because
The
he
guy
was
who played
almost like a
Riddler was great.
Joker-ish kind of character with the, you
He was
know.
very much like a serial killer.
Oh, was
guy.
he?
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah. I know they're doing the new Joker movie.
Oh, yeah,
People
that's right.
Kit, which I loved the first one.
Yeah, the Joker movie was really, really good.
Yeah. But my whole thing though is, it's like if he's that old, the Joker, and you saw him introduced to Bruce Wayne when he was like, what? It's like, how old are you gonna be when he becomes
Oh, yeah.
the Batman? You know, it's like you're gonna be in a motorized little chair with a little thing.
Then you just
popping
feel
out.
bad for him. Batman just
Oh,
beating
yeah.
up this like 65-year-old guy.
You know, it's like I can't kill him. It's like, don't worry about it. You know, he's
You're
just
beating
about
up
there.
Grandpa over
You
there.
know,
Come
like-
on, bro.
I mean, that's just
Well,
it. I think that's the same thing with Gotham. He was such a young child,
Yeah.
you know, and you're introducing all these villains already in the series, and they're like, but he's like a child, and they're like, what, 15 years more over his age or
Probably,
something.
yeah.
And they're, you know, yeah. I mean, only Batman has to do is, I'm gonna wait it out. They'll be dead soon.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
worry about it.
They'll
I'll
be
wait
in
it
the
out.
home. I can find them there.
I'll find them there, the old supervillain's home.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
he just goes and beats everybody up.
The Penguin's in a walker and like, you'll never get me, Batman. Yeah.
All right, lady, day, go.
So, did you see? I know you. Troy loves Train to Busan. Did you see the poster for the American remake? The last
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that, man.
Welcome
To
back,
To me, I think it's
Michael.
just going to be an ordinary ride into New York. You know?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's packing and zombies. All right.
Well, what I always thought about Train to Busan, which made it interesting, was that it's the Korean version of a zombie movie, and so it's got no guns in it. Where all American zombie movies everyone's got a gun.
Yep.
So then, if you do an American remake of the Korean movie, I mean, it's going to be like, in my mind, it'll be just like a regular zombie movie. Everyone will have guns in. So I don't know. I'll have to wait. Maybe it'll do something interesting with it. But
It'll be Snyder, and there'll be 500,000 zombies stuck in a train.
Since we've seen so many zombie movies, if you do something, you have to really do something new to make it like stand out.
Yeah.
You can't just keep making another zombie movie.
I only got to be a zombie once,
Ooh.
and that was
The video
I know that movie.
yeah.
I used to
And
work in a video store many years ago.
I thought after I thought I had way too much personality for a zombie.
I think you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeding us chili, and I'm going and petting her arm.
Yeah, because I think that one, it had like a Rich Corbin poster, or like the old movie case or something. That's what I
The Video
remember
Dead?
about it. Yeah. Yep.
Look it up here.
Is that the one where there's the skull's coming up out of like a? Yeah, that's it. He's coming
Is that
up.
the
Yeah,
one?
that's the
Oh,
one.
yeah,
I know
yep.
there's one.
Yeah, can you see this?
Yeah, yes. You can pull it
That's
back a little
awesome.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but we can see it as you
Yeah.
do this. We see pictures of it.
Oh, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
spent,
remember
he
that
spent
one.
almost a third of his budget on this poster.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was a $35,000 movie,
Wow.
and I own part of that because it was a limited edition or a limited partnership. And then the distributor went bankrupt, and I've been trying to chase down my money ever since.
Oh, no.
Because I actually, the thing was actually making me money. I mean, I was supposed to get $1,400 a week, and I got that right away. And then the last check I got was about 3,500. And then the distributor went bankrupt, and now MGM has had it out. It's been on TV here several times. And so I know there's more money there, but I'm not getting it. And I finally found the paperwork.
No, that's no good at all.
I found a lawyer, and then somebody came out from New York to interview me about this, the video dead. And I crammed everything in boxes and threw it in the bedroom. So when they showed up here, the place didn't look like it normal. And I haven't been able to find it since.
Oh, no.
That one you're going to have to find then, especially like, you know, if there's some pesos to be made from it, then do it.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, I'm
better you getting it than some fat cat like somewhere else, you know.
Well, it's hard being an overweight, starving actor, but I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a Tuesday coming up. You got some more tacos down the line. So, yeah.
I hope. You never know.
Enjoy the Tuesdays while you can.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, guys, I got a boogie. I got the dogs I got a boogie out with.
Well,
and so,
yeah, we'll probably wrap up here, but we'll be back next week. We're going to have a double header next week. We're going to have Abraham Ben Ruby of Christmas Bloody Christmas, which is going to be very cool, and Andrea Lang and Daniela Maximilian of the Adult Swim's Yule Log. So even though Christmas is over,
that's
we're gonna have
awesome.
some guests from Christmas movies next week.
That's cool.
Thanks, Dylan Mars Greenberg for Music of the Month this month. And next month, we will have The Tomb of Nick Cage will be our Music of the Month. And we're going to start opening up the Zoom lines, and we'll take Zooms every week here after the interview.
That's awesome.
That sounds fun. It sounds like fun. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Craig, Michael, Neal, it was
Thank you.
great
Hey.
seeing all of you
I'd
guys.
like to apologize for going away, but
We'll talk to you again soon.
Getting me a new.
I would love to hang out with him and just listen to his stories.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I couldn't let her go because she's even flakier than I am.
All right. Love you guys.
Yeah, we will talk to you everyone soon. And now that Michael's on Zoom, we could get him on more often, and we'll catch up. With
Happy
Michael.
New Year.
Fun. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Take
And
it easy.
lots of them. I'm personally, I'm holding out for the Chinese New Year's.
Well, there you go.
It's much more fun.
What's the year that? What's this year's? What's the Chinese New Year?
What animal it is?
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Looked it up really. All I know is it's just before my birthday, so
Well, there you go. Yeah.
yeah. And
happy
you only have 33 more shopping days till my birthday.
All right. I will get you something.
I'll let you.
All right, fair enough. Hey, everybody. It's good to catch
Good night,
up with
everyone.
everybody.